Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sidney Memorial Stadium in 30-0 Field. I'm Greg Snyder, one of the assistant principals at Sidney High School, along with Mike Ward, who will do some color for me today, and then my dad, Ed Snyder, will help us out with some stats again. As we get ready for the first round of the OHSAA playoffs. That's kind of fun to say, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's exciting, but it's also a little different. You know, I was telling Mr. Ed Snyder over here that it is a little different feeling, you know, with not, everybody in the stands like we normally have, and just the anticipation of, are we going to make the playoffs? Are we going to make the playoffs? And then, oh, you make it, and just that excitement. Everybody knowing that they're going to make it. A little different feeling this year, but it's still a lot of fun.
Sure, and I remember growing up back in, Mercer County, Auglaize County, in that area, it always seemed to happen that somebody would play week 10 and then they turn around and they play the first week of the playoffs. We don't quite have that, but we do get a familiar foe in the West Carrollton Pirates, who the Jackets took on 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
just 2 weeks ago, and it was a great game. Obviously West Carrollton's a very talented team, and it was a struggle for the Yellow Jackets. They had opportunities to do some good things in that one, but West Carrollton did a lot of really good things on offense in that one that is going to scare the Jackets a little bit tonight.
Sure, and we don't want to speculate on injuries or anything like that, but obviously if you're a West Carrollton fan, and the Yellow Jackets coaching staff, of course, well aware that Tyron Darby, the great running back that we saw 2 weeks ago, did get hurt against Greenville. And, I think I see him walking over there in street clothes, but once again, we won't speculate. But what a wonderful talent. And, of course, that would be a big hit for the Pirates, I'm sure, if he's not able to play tonight.
Oh, absolutely. That was one of the players that at halftime last time we were talking about how explosive he was, and we were really scared going into that second half of how he could hurt the Yellow Jackets. So that would be a huge loss for the Pirates tonight.
But the cupboard isn't bare. I mean, you're talking about he's a junior. You got a sophomore running back who's played a lot this year, and DeJuan Howard, number 2. A different type of runner, probably a little more punch than speed, but still plenty of speed to spare. But he's a talent as well. And, of course, you got to talk about the quarterback, Kamari Cleveland, who we were impressed with both running the ball and throwing the ball.
Yeah, they're going to be dynamic no matter what. Even if, with Darby, if he is out, they'll still be plenty dynamic with Howard and Cleveland. Both those players just make plays out there. Cleveland, we were super impressed with. They came out and kind of changed up their game plan in the second half against Sidney and threw it around, and he threw some really nice balls into some tough coverage, and just did a nice job in that second half overall.
And, of course, the big equalizer is now that the Jackets are taking on West Carrollton, they actually have a couple of games under their belt. It had been a 2-week layoff, and you could tell they made some mistakes in that game against the Jackets, much like Sidney did last week against Piqua. But, of course, they cleaned some of those things up and got their first win last week against Greenville.
And that's got to have them feeling good coming into the playoffs. It's always nice to start the playoffs with a good feeling. Unfortunately, the Yellow Jackets aren't doing that with their loss last week. But hopefully, both teams can have good showings here tonight, and we'll have a great first round playoff game here.
Absolutely. And in that game, last week, West Carrollton beat Greenville 35-13, and only one offensive touchdown for Greenville. So the defense from West Carrollton, the Jackets got some busted coverages, got some big plays against them, but in the second half there, they were pretty tough. The Jackets were able to run the ball last time against the Pirates, and I'm sure that they're going to be looking to do that again. How key is that for the Jackets going into tonight?
I think they have to establish the run, because any team that becomes one-dimensional, it makes it so much easier to play defense and cover up the guys. We have very talented players out there for Sidney tonight, but it's going to make Cedric Johnson's job a lot tougher if that running game doesn't get established early.
Absolutely. So we're going to go through some of our interviews. Once again, just like last week, the kids from TV Productions did these during the week. We know that there's some audio things, and the camera's a little fuzzy on Coach Dunges' interview, which he said that's okay. It made him look better. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we're learning some things, so don't expect these interviews to be perfect by any means, but I do appreciate the kids. They've done a really nice job of,
it's great to see
these
them
things
get
on their own.
involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to see some graphics, hopefully, tonight. For instance, we just talked about Cedric Johnson. Let me see if you know what, I'm going to pull up Cam Vordermark. So down in your right-hand corner here, these are some graphics that our TV Productions kids made as well. So maybe we can sneak some of those in this evening. Of course, Cam's a nice senior that's going to be on this defense that Coach Coleman's going to talk about right now in this interview done by TV Productions.
I'm sure the team wasn't happy with the performance against Piqua. Can you first speak to Piqua and what they did well, particularly their sophomore quarterback?
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear they're a good football team. You don't end up 6-0 at this point in the year with not being a good football team. We talked about going into it about them just being a clean football team. They don't make too many penalties. They don't make a lot of mistakes as far as turning the ball over or negative plays. So it's going to be important to kind of force them into some of those things. When we were able to do that, force them into some negative plays or, force a holding call or something like that, we had some success. But we just didn't do it consistently enough. And a team like that, you're going to have to be extremely consistent on both sides of the football in order to give them problems. So definitely a testament to what they do as a group, but also, we don't feel like, we played our best football or even close to it. So.
There were a few instances where you had guys in position to make plays on their running backs and weren't able to. How much of that, in your opinion, was technique and tackling for you, and how much of that was just them being really good athletes?
We feel like this year we've been a pretty good tackling football team for the most part. There's no doubt about it that they have a lot of good players on their side. I think we do as well, though. So, I look back at it, and we probably had our guys in a lot of one-on-one situations that they were able to take advantage of, where, in a lot of the other games we were able to either get off a block or do something else to get multiple guys to the football. Obviously, two-on-one and three-on-one situations are more beneficial to us as a defense, and we just weren't able to create enough of those opportunities to have, a gang tackle situation, and they were able to, win some of those one-on-one battles that contributed to some of the big plays.
There were several times on Friday night where, for whatever reason, the defense was facing a short field or good field position for Piqua. What is your approach with your defense when that happens during the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'd love them to be backed up inside their own 20 every single time and have to work a long field. But just by the dynamics of the game, sometimes that doesn't work out real well. We were put into some tough spots, no doubt about it. But we talked about it with our guys, leading into the game, that they're a good football team, and we're probably going to be put into some bad situations. And at the end of the day, our mindset has to be to just put the ball down, line it up, and give us a chance. That's our biggest thing, is just give us a chance to try to stop them. I think they were in the red zone 7 or 8 times, and we were able to hold them up a couple times. So it was possible. We just didn't do it consistently enough, and that kind of contributes to the final score.
Can you talk about some guys that are playing up front this year that have kind of developed into those spots over a few years of work? Guys like Michael Frank, Jackson Pettit, Keenan Johnson, Zane Latimer, and so on. What does it show about them that they didn't necessarily play as underclassmen very much, but now they're playing and helping you on Friday nights?
Yeah, we ask a lot of those guys, and we rotate. You mentioned a lot of guys there that we rotate in. We rotate a lot more guys than that. We probably, depending on the game, go from anywhere from 6 to 10 guys rotating in on the defensive line. There's some young guys. There's some older guys. Kind of runs the whole spectrum there. We switched up our techniques a little bit with those guys this year and actually made it a little bit more difficult on them. They're seeing a lot more double teams than they've probably ever seen. So their progression in this new front has been, kind of encouraging to see. I think we've done a little bit better job of holding up against the run. We still have a long way to go on that. But, a lot of those older guys especially have done a nice job of kind of being leaders, buying into what we're doing and just kind of approaching it as, hey, I'm going to do my job. And it's not always the most glorious job. It's not always the job that, they get a lot of credit for. We try to love them up as much as we can because we know how hard their job is, and it frees up guys in the back end to come down and make plays.
Can you talk about your assistant coaches on the defensive side and what they have meant to you both during the week and on game night?
Yeah, so there are basically 5 of us that work on the defensive side for the most part. Myself, Coach Dungus, Coach Giozzi, Coach Ward, and Coach Stockton spend the most time on the defensive side of the football. So, those guys are pretty vital to what we do. They spend a lot of time on Saturdays and Sundays away from their families, preparing, game planning, getting things right for the week, and making sure that we're going to, give ourselves the best chance, best opportunity. Hopefully we're putting our kids in the best opportunity to make plays. That's our end goal at the end of the day. It's been nice to kind of, only be working one side of the ball most years and working both sides of the ball. It's been nice to kind of focus on one side, and I feel like, been able to put a lot more time and effort and energy into that side of the ball and making sure that we're, hopefully putting our guys in the right spot. But those guys do a lot of work behind the scenes that not a lot of people see. So, it's always, nice to have those guys that are willing to put in that work.
What did you learn from a few weeks ago when you faced West Carrollton the first time?
It's always hard to see a team's speed, how they move on film. Obviously you can see them running away from each other, but you don't know what that other team has if they're fast or anything like that. So to feel their speed and their athleticism, I think hopefully it kind of opens our eyes a little bit from top to bottom, coaching staff all the way down to the kids and the guys that are on the field, and understanding how dangerous these guys are if they get into space. So it's going to be critical to make sure that we understand that the speed is there, and that we got to get to these guys early and often in order to kind of slow them down a little bit.
Team like West Carrollton can both run and pass the ball effectively. What challenge does that present in the game?
Yeah, it's when we faced them the first time, it was they were probably about 65% pass, which is kind of skewed to the pass, probably the most pass-heavy team we faced for the most part all year. So, but these last 2 weeks against us and then against Greenville last week, they put a much more emphasis on running the football. They're back to about 50-50 now. So that definitely makes it more challenging on us, because you're obviously preparing front end, back end, everything across the board a little bit more. And, coming off a game like Pickwood, who's very much similar, you got to prepare and you got to make sure that you're ready to go on the back end and up front. It definitely is a challenge, but, we're excited defensively to have a chance, have an opportunity to kind of slow down what is statistically the best offense in the league. So that's a definite challenge for us.
In your mind, what are some keys to the game tonight on the defensive side?
You always got to, with a team like West Carrollton, you have to limit big plays. We talked about it the last time we played them. There was basically 2 plays that accounted for about 110, 120 yards, and both of them ended up being scores. So, if you give up 2, 3, 4 of those type of plays, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So it's got to be, a mentality where, hopefully we can get them off track early, get them into some second long, third and longs, and then when we do get them into those situations, be able to be smart, understand what the situation is, and make sure that we get stuff knocked down and get them to punt the football. At the end of the day, our main goal is to get the ball back to the offense. So however we have to do that, whether we get them to punt or we turn them over or get them to turn over on downs, doesn't matter to us. We just want to get our offense back on the field.
So thanks to Coach Coleman and our TV Productions crew for putting together that interview. And, Coach Coleman talked about the defense, and we didn't bring this one up this week, but it's hard to talk about the Yellow Jacket defense and not talk about that guy right there, Devin Taborn.
Yeah, he's just been great for him. He kind of sets the tone on that defense. He's big-time hard hitter in there, always with his nose at the ball, just seems to always find a way through there and get in on a tackle. Most of the time he's the first guy there on those tackles, and just a great defender in the middle of the defense, and definitely somebody that has made that defense a lot better this year.
And Coach Coleman talked about the task of playing against a team that's balanced like West Carrollton. You don't see that very much anymore in this area in the Miami Valley League. It seems like a lot of teams are run heavy, and not that West Carrollton can't run the ball, but certainly that makes it tough. And the Yellow Jackets have done a nice job of staying balanced as well. So these are probably 2 of the more balanced teams in the area, and that's got to create a little bit of an issue for the defenses.
Yeah, you look around the MVL, and there are a lot of teams that are definitely run first, and that's their priority. But these 2 teams, on any given night, it could be a big-time running game for them or a big-time passing game. They both have good quarterbacks, both good running backs, and it just really makes it tough on the defense that you can't key on one thing.
So we're getting ready to go to the interview with Coach Britton DeVere, the offensive coordinator. And, of course, over the last 2 weeks, really a tale of two different games for the Yellow Jackets. Of course, against West Carrollton, able to move the ball, able to establish the run. And against Piqua, the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers. And that's been the story for the Yellow Jackets all year, 3-3. And you look at the 3 wins, pretty solid stuff, taking care of the ball, moving, getting first downs. And then, of course, games like last week when that doesn't happen, the Yellow Jackets just, and most high school teams can't do this, but can't dig themselves out of those holes.
Yeah, I mean, it really almost seems like a tale of two teams with the Yellow Jackets. You know, when they're on, you know, they limit the penalties, they limit the turnovers. They can compete with anybody around the area. But boy, you know, as evidenced last week, got behind the 8 ball early and just, you know, had the turnovers, had the mistakes on special teams, and you know, it just kind of snowballed into the fact that they got behind, and it really, honestly, it was a point where it was a pretty tough hole to climb out of at that point.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and go to that interview with Coach Britton DeVere. Once again, I believe this one's with Luke Bemis and Nick Jones from TV Productions. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Coach DeVere.
Coach, on Friday, I'm sure there was a little bit of disappointment on the offensive side of the ball. You got some first downs here and there, but you weren't able to string enough together to get enough points. In retrospect, what are some of the factors that led to the result of Piqua on your side of the ball?
Well, Piqua was a really good team. They're 6-0 for a reason, and you can't make mistakes and beat a good team. So we got a couple first downs early on, and then fumbled, and then it was just, and they end up scoring. And it was just a calamity of events after that. Fumbled a kickoff return, blocked a punt, threw an interception. It was snowball, not good. We just didn't execute. We turned the ball over, and they were able to capitalize. And then once you're down 14, 21 points to a good team, it's really hard to come back. And so we just got snowballed, I guess, is the best term I can think of.
Turnovers and mistakes have obviously hurt you in your losses, including last Friday. What things can you do in practice to simulate eliminating those mistakes?
Well, I think being a new offensive coordinator and new offensive staff and stuff, some of the mistakes early on were just a product of us not being able to have scrimmages in a normal summer. So we've played cleaner. Other than last week, we played cleaner after the first couple weeks. In practice, we try to do the same things over and over and execute. But sometimes crazy stuff happens. Ball gets tipped for an interception or something like that. So some of the stuff you can control by doing ball security drills and that kind of thing, but sometimes just crazy weird stuff happens. So we always stress ball security, and I always say the name of the game is football, so the most important thing is the football. And you certainly can't beat a good team turning the ball over, so we're constantly trying to improve in that department.
Their pressure was effective last week against your offense. It was probably the first time this year that Sed was consistently uncomfortable in the pocket. However, as the game went on, it felt like you started picking up their blitzes a little better. Why was their pressure effective early on, and what did you do to combat that?
So Pick was a really well-coached team. And they know that our pass protection is half slide. So that basically means that away from the running back, our offensive line is in sort of a zone type scenario. So like 3 guys have these 3 guys, and on the side with the running back, they're man. So they've got the down guys, and the running back has a guy. So it's called half slide. So what Pickle was able to do, and actually West Carrollton tried to do, they essentially outnumber you to your zone side. So they cover up your center, guard, and tackle with down linemen, and then they bring a 4th guy, which will be a linebacker in this case. And so we've only got 3 guys, and they've got 4. So they were successful with that early on, and then tried to adjust during the course of the first half. But then at halftime, we were able to adjust to that. We make a call on the line, and we're able to pick up that 4th guy. Just something that we really hadn't seen too much, and just not experienced that yet this year. So that's why in the second half it was better, because we were actually able to block all their guys.
Once your scouting report is ready, how do you attack your play calling for the week? Do you script plays? Do you have some things that you know you're going to run on certain downs? How does your plan come together throughout the week?
So our offensive system has the same menu of plays each week. We may add a wrinkle here or there, but we're not what I would call a grab bag type of an offense. So from day one, we have these 6 or 8 pass plays, these 6 or 8 run plays, and these 3 or 4 screens. And we just run those a zillion times and get really good at them. And as a play caller, basically you sit down and you look at their defense and you say, okay, from our play menu, what are the things that are most successful against that defense? So things that I look at are, can you get a numbers advantage, meaning do you have more guys than they do at a point of attack? So if you're going to run a run play, do you have more guys that can get to that point of attack than they do? Same thing in the pass. You'll see in their coverage, sometimes you look out there and it looks like there's only like 1 guy covering 3 guys. So that would be a numbers advantage. Then sometimes there's just a mismatch. So is our dude better than their dude? Can I look out there and say, that's a mismatch? Could be height, could be speed, whatever. So numbers, you got a straight mismatch. Then you're looking for grass. So is there holes in their defense by their alignment where you can try to get your guys to and pass, screen, or run game? And then you're looking for leverage. So leverage means, is their defense lining up inside of you, outside of you? Is there some place you can take advantage of what they're doing on defense? So we basically do that, and then we take our menu of plays and we say these are the things we think we're going to be able to be successful at, and then that's what we do. And because we have that menu and we always practice the same plays, if they do something different on Friday night, we're able to go to our menu and call the plays that will be successful if they do something different than what we think. So that's kind of how I go about it. I do not script plays like for the game. Like I don't have an opening script. I just, through my 15 years, you never stay on it anyway. So I just kind of call by feel, and sometimes it goes really good, and sometimes we don't look so good, and there's a whole lot of reasons for that. But we're looking for numbers, grass, leverage, and mismatch. That's the 4 things I look at.
Against West Carrollton, for the first time, you were able to establish the run with your 2 running backs. Is that a priority again, and do you think Sid can get involved in the run game as well?
So when we played West Carrollton the first time, we knew that they had been on the COVID quarantine for 2 weeks. They do weekly eligibility, so they had a number of kids that were out with academic stuff. So they only had 25 some players dressed. So my thinking was just to try to wear them down with running Devin Taborn and E.J. Davis, and also take some of the load off of Sid. So that was my thinking behind that, and we had some success with it. When you're a 10 personnel team, so a 10 personnel team means we have 1 running back, no tight ends. If you're going to be really successful, your quarterback has to be able to run, or he has to be Peyton Manning and he can make every throw on the field. Sid has had some really good games rushing the ball. He's had at least 1, maybe 2 100-yard rushing games. And in high school, it's always important to remember, anytime the quarterback takes a sack, that comes off of his rushing total. So he had 100 yards at least once, maybe twice, and that includes any sacks he took being subtracted. Like in the NFL, it comes off their passing yards. So Sid is always part of our run game. I'm never scared to run the quarterback. That's just part of what we do. So we'll have some different things from the first time we played them, but we're always going to have that same play menu that we always do.
In an offense that you've said is meant to spread the ball around, you were able to do that last time against West Carrollton. What are going to be some keys in being able to do that a second time?
Yeah, when everything's going good, all the receivers are getting touches, the running backs getting touches, and you're just kind of dishing the ball around to everybody, almost like a basketball team would. That's great when it's happening because that usually means that you're winning and you're having success on offense. Sometimes it's not like that, like it was last week. I think our bread and butter is throwing screens and running EJ, and then our counter to that would be Sid running the ball with potentially some two-back stuff again this week. So I tell all the receivers, some weeks you're the dude, and some weeks you're a decoy, for a lack of a better word. Some guys, sometimes you're running your route to open up your teammate. It just depends. So sometimes the inside receivers have a bunch of catches. Sometimes the outside guys have a bunch of catches. Like last time against West Carrollton, we only threw the ball 10 times. So in my 10 years running this offense, that may be the fewest times we've ever thrown the ball in a game. So we were 7 for 10. So we'll see how that all pans out. We're just trying to take what they give us.
Thanks again to Coach DeVere and Nick Jones and Luke Bemis, who did that interview for us. And, Coach said it. Obviously, taking care of the ball is important. Establishing the run's important. But as we were listening to that interview, you made the comment to me, it's all going to start up front because when you play an aggressive defense like West Carrollton, we saw it last time against West Carrollton, where the Jackets struggled a little bit early, but then got it figured out and were able to lean on them a little bit, and that's where it's going to start and end tonight for the Yellow Jacket offense.
Yeah, if you can handle that pressure, there's going to be things there for you on offense. If you can get every guy blocked and taken care of, then you're going to have opportunities both in the run game and in the passing game. And we saw that later in the game as it progressed against West Carrollton the first time around.
In the Yellow Jacket offense, obviously it's nice what Coach DeVere said that it's an offense that's going to take advantage of whatever the defense gives you. Being able to distribute the ball, we've seen that this year with 4 receivers over 200 yards, a couple of running backs that have had a lot of success, and a quarterback that's had success throwing the ball and running the ball. But this guy on the screen right here, when he plays well and when the Jackets can get him some running lanes, it's just a different level of offense.
Yeah, I mean, when he has a good game, it's easy to say that the Sidney offense had a good game because when he gets going, the defense is going to key on him, and it opens up the screen game, it opens up the middle of the field, it opens up the deep passing game. It just brings that whole defense up and opens up so much for Cedric Johnson and those great receivers that the Jackets have.
Absolutely. And before we get to Coach Dungis's interview, why don't you go ahead and make your Vespa announcement?
Yeah. As we've been talking about the last few weeks, VespaQuarterbackClub.com gives you an opportunity to buy some 50-50 raffle tickets online every week with the chance to win up to $100. You can also sign up to become a Vespa member for $20 online or at the home football game if you happen to be on your way here or whatever. Hopefully you're not watching YouTube and driving at the same time. But members do get a free program at each home game, and Vespa just does so many things for the football program. I know even when I was in school, they bought a big 7-man sled that's still here at the stadium, and just do so many things that help support the program and make things go. So if you can do that, support them at VespaQuarterbackClub.com.
So let's go ahead and go to the head coach interview with Coach Dungis. Jackson Pettit, who's also a defensive lineman and the backup center for the Jackets, did this interview. We know that it's a little bit fuzzy and a little out of focus. Coach Dungis said he wanted it that way so that he didn't look too bad. So,
yeah.
But you should be able to hear pretty well. And once again, here's that interview with Coach Dungis.
I'm here with Coach Dungis today, and we're doing a little game interview before our game tonight. Some early mistakes were made that really put you on against Baker on Friday, and you guys dug yourself into a hole that you couldn't make yourself out of. In retrospect, did you feel like your team was ready to play?
Yeah, we didn't exactly get off to the best start. I think a lot of that was self-inflicted. We had the mishandle on the toss on offense. We mishandled and fumbled a kickoff. We threw a pick because we had a receiver who didn't finish off his route. A lot of that was self-inflicted, but make no mistake about it. Pickle's a good football team, and good football teams take advantage of all those mistakes if you give it to them, and they did, and that's why we found ourselves down 28-0 or something along those lines before the first quarter was even over.
And what percentage of those plays do you think were mistakes on your team, or how much was it due to Pickle just being a really good team?
Yeah, Pickle's a really good football team. We gave them the football. I don't think it was necessarily anything they did to us, but like I said, when you give really good teams the football on the other side into your territory, good teams are going to capitalize on it, and they definitely did.
Special team has been pretty much a great unit all year, but they had some mistakes Friday night. What were you expecting from this unit this week?
Yeah, it was odd. We've been pretty solid on that all year as far as our protections on punt and on kicking the ball. Our return units have been pretty solid, and our kickoff and punt teams have been pretty solid all year, and we were not very good in all those phases on Friday night against Pickwa, and we definitely got to get better. We shuffled a couple kids around into some different spots, try to get some other guys on the field that maybe can make some plays for us, and it's definitely something we're going to need for tonight's game.
You've been on both sides of the running clock this year and over the past few years. What are your thoughts on the rule?
I think it's a good rule. It definitely helps speed the game along when you get down or up that much. There's no sense in playing a long game. That rule, I can't remember how long it's been around, maybe 5 or 6 years. So, prior to that, it would make for some really long games when you're beating an opponent or losing to an opponent 70 to 10 or something like that. It can make for a long game. We've certainly been on both sides of that, and I think it's a good rule that I'm glad it's around.
You put all your assistant coaches basically on one side of the ball this year, either coaching offense or defense. How do you think that's gone for you this year?
Yeah, I think it's been good from a coaching standpoint. Now a coach can just focus on what they need to do in their one position. In the past, I might have quarterbacks, and then I also would have the defensive backs. You might be coaching linebackers and then coaching running backs on the other side of the ball. And I think our coaches have been able to get into their drills a little bit more in depth this year because they haven't had to worry about planning for two different sides of the ball. So I think it's been good for us. Once again, you got to have good coaches in order to do that, and you got to have good numbers. This year, we're pretty grateful on having a good number of coaches on our staff, and so it's been able to work. Something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm glad we were able to do it this year.
Is the vibe any different this week with the playoffs starting, or has it been business as usual?
I really like our team just because it's been business as usual. With the weird year and everything that's been going on, I like how our guys just want to go out and get some work done. But definitely with playoffs around, it's something that no one on this team besides some coaches have felt that playoff vibe before. It is a little bit different because if you do lose, you still have a chance to play some games after that. It's not a win or go home type situation, but I think our guys have that mentality that we want to control our own destiny. We want to win our own. We win football games. You just look at the bracket, who's the next guy up in line. So it's kind of a cool feeling of that unknown, and we're grateful to be in the playoffs.
What did you learn about West Carrollton from a couple of weeks ago when you beat them 32-0?
Team speed was pretty good. They were coming off a 2-week COVID quarantine. I think it took them a little bit to get rolling. And then once their kids got comfortable with the game, I thought they were really hitting their stride. You can see that a little bit more on film against the Greenville game. So we got a team that's been playing for the last 2 weeks, coming back into our place. It's never easy to, the old adage is never be easy to beat team twice in 1 year. And we got our work cut out for us with this West Carrollton team.
Can you give a quick update on your younger programs?
Yeah, JVs this year, I'm trying to think. I think we're about 4-1. We just lost our first game last week with the JV team. Last week against Pickwa, lost by 3 points. Otherwise, they've won all their games. The freshmen, I believe, are about 4-1. But that's playing. They've played Pickwa twice, Tip City twice. They're going to play Tip City for a third time this week. Freshman and JV schedules have been all over the place just because of what teams have it, what teams don't. but teams had half their team quarantined. So it's been kind of a wild year for those guys. The 8th grade team has 1 loss, and the 7th grade team is still looking for their first win.
In your mind, what are the keys to victory tonight?
As usual, I mean, we always have 10 team goals that we always try to hit each week. That kind of gives us a good indication of how we're going to do in the game. But the 3 big ones, turnover margin. We need to create more turnovers than what we get the ball up on. Who produces the most big plays at 20 yards or more? Something we got to try to create on offense, and then also limit the amount of their offense. So it's a big play offense for them. And then the third thing would be 3rd and 4th down conversion rate. How well are we on converting 3rd and 4th downs on offense, and how well we are stopping them on 3rd and 4th down.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
So once again, thanks to Coach Dunges and to Jackson Pettit for that interview. Coach kind of addressed it, but no matter how you cut it, it's a pretty neat feeling that you're in the playoffs. I mean, you don't get this feeling very often in football. Of course, seeing us out there in those yellow jerseys at home in a playoff game, it's got to bring back a couple of memories, at least for us.
Yeah, definitely.
We played Belmont at home. That was pretty fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, second ever home playoff game here at Sidney High School, or for Sidney, and yeah, it's really cool. That was a great experience for both of us, and a lot of fun here. A big win for the program, and hopefully that just happens again tonight, and they can continue building on that.
Absolutely, and just kind of reminiscing for a second, the game night was obviously fun, exciting game against a really good Belmont team, but just the community and the build-up prior to that, being on the court square, that was one of the neatest nights that I've experienced here in Sidney.
Yeah, standing there at the courthouse with all the players and, seeing the crowd that turned out, it was really cool to see the whole city of Sidney and even the surrounding areas get behind. I know there were a lot of county school, maybe some of the county schools that don't have football that came and watched Sidney that night, and were really excited about the Jackets being back in the playoffs.
So just a couple of stats as we get ready for the game here. We'll run through a little bit on each team just to get to know the teams a little bit better. West Carrollton coming in at 1-3 on the year. Started the season with 2 losses, close losses. The first one to Stebbins. They lost 28-25. Of course, that is a potential. It is going to be not a potential. I guess it's going to be a second-round opponent for one of these 2 teams,
yep.
Whoever wins tonight. But West Carrollton, just like Sidney, played against Stebbins, although West Carrollton played them at home, and lost a very close matchup. That one was 28-25 in week 1. Then they traveled to Fairborn. Of course, got some bad news this week, and they're out of the OHSAA playoffs because of COVID and everything. So we wish them the best over there. That's a tough break, but they did beat West Carrollton in week 2, 45-32. And then speaking of COVID, West Carrollton had to take 2 weeks off basically. Then came here to Sidney and fell to the Jackets 32-20. And of course, we saw in that second half, obviously, a pretty impressive West Carrollton team that really hit their stride, like Coach Dunn just said. And then last week, the 35-13 win over Greenville for their first win of the year, but a win that came at a little bit of a cost for them, as Tyron Darby, one of their star running backs, is not going to be dressed tonight. It looks like he's down there on the 42-yard line in street clothes. So we wish him the best. Hopefully a full recovery and a quick recovery for him. But the Yellow Jackets obviously catch a little bit of a break there when it comes to that. As we move the camera there, you can see the coin toss. So you can see that as we go. But looking at some stats for West Carrollton, they're going to be led tonight by their quarterback, number 7, Kamari Cleveland. He's completed 63% of his passes for 733 yards on the year, 8 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And that's pretty much, 63% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's a pretty good definition of efficiency in the high school game.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see, a high completion percentage and a good touchdown to interception ratio. I mean, that's all you can ask for from a high school quarterback.
As we see the toss go down, we'll see who wins this here. Looks like the Jackets won the toss, and I'm guessing Coach Dunges will defer. At least that's what he's done in the past, trying to get that extra possession.
Sure. Looks like Kurt Spangler's out there for the coin toss for the Jackets.
Well, he's smarter than you and I combined, so we're in good shape.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. So.
So, indeed, the Yellow Jackets do win the toss. They will defer. and they will defend the south end zone. Do I got that right?
That is correct.
Defend the scoreboard, so they'll be traveling toward the scoreboard in the second half. And West Carrollton will get the ball first. But back to West Carrollton then on the running attack. Very balanced team, but running the ball. Once again, number 1, Tyron Darby. Doesn't appear as if he'll play tonight, but he had 50 attempts for 343 yards and 4 touchdowns. In his place will probably be number 2, DeJuan Howard, 34 attempts for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, only a sophomore. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know.
Very impressive running the ball and out of the backfield catching the ball as well. Kamari Cleveland, the quarterback, always dangerous with his legs as well as his arms. 28 rushes on the year for 162 yards and a touchdown. And then Terry Green Jr. has also seen some stats this year and might see a little bit more with Darby potentially out. He has 10 carries for 42 yards, also a sophomore. Receiving the ball for the West Carrollton Pirates, their leading receiver is number 5, Cedric Anthony. He has 12 receptions for 214 yards and 4 touchdowns on the year, also a junior. You're going to hear a lot of juniors and a lot of sophomores on this team. Number 9, Jordan Berry, 11 receptions for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns, also a junior. And then Jarrell Sanders has 63 yards on the year. DeJuan Howard out of the backfield has 49 yards on the year. And number 8, Logan Cloud, has 61 yards, only a sophomore receiving on the year. So West Carrollton once again coming in at 1-3. When you look at special teams, they don't kick many extra points. Only 2 of 5 on the year, extra points. They like to go for 2. And, of course, that's always helped out by an athletic quarterback in those short yardage situations.
Sure. And one thing I noticed as you're going through the stats there, their quarterback, Cleveland, maybe only 162 yards rushing. Yeah, that may not sound like a lot to everybody, but when he's only had 28 attempts on the year in the high school game, every time he gets sacked, that counts against him in his rushing yards. So to average over 5 yards a carry is pretty darn good for a high school quarterback.
Absolutely. And leading the Pirates on defense, number 35, Anthony Baltimore, is their leading tackler with 38 tackles and 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles on the year. So he's kind of all over the field. Number 6, Tony Buckner, has 29 tackles. Number 4, Leon Nevels with 29 on the year. And number 5, also one of their leading receivers, Cedric Anthony, on defense, with 26 tackles. And, of course, you are counting the number of players that appear to be dressed for West Carrollton. They're going to have a lot of guys going both ways today.
Yeah, I counted right around 30. And, that's tough in high school football, 11 at a time out there. And I'm sure they're going to have guys that are playing both ways. But the flip side of that is the athletes they've got. That means they're going to have athletes on both sides of the ball, and they're going to try to take advantage of that against the Jackets.
Absolutely. We talked about the Yellow Jacket turnovers kind of being an indicator in their mistakes about how they do, but also special teams play has been a big indicator. And West Carrollton, very, very dangerous, especially on kickoff return. They have a couple of guys that are averaging right around 30 yards per return this year. So very dangerous when the Jackets kick the ball off. But, of course, Carson Taylor's done a wonderful job for the Jackets so far with that this year.
Oh, he's been a huge addition to the Yellow Jackets. Sometimes when you lose good kickers and things like that, it's tough to replace them. And this year, luckily, we have a guy that's doing a great job, and hopefully we'll be back doing the same thing next year.
Absolutely. And now on to the Jackets, kind of recapping their year and looking at some stats. Opened up the year at Greenville with a 56-0 win, and then much like West Carrollton, fell in a close game to Stebbins, 22-20. Then they played New Richmond in kind of a makeup game situation. Really good game. New Richmond traveled a long way up here to Sidney Memorial Stadium and beat the Jackets 21-7 in that game. But then the Jackets kind of hit their stride. Probably the best part of their year was the next 2 weeks when they traveled to Xenia and got a huge win, 28-21 over Xenia, and then came back home and faced the West Carrollton team just off of COVID and won 32-20. But last week, of course, a couple steps back for the Jackets, losing to Piqua 44-0, a game that really, from the get-go, the Jackets, they just didn't have it that night in Piqua. A really, really good team.
Yeah, the Jackets did give them plenty of opportunities there early in the game, and against a team like that with Piqua, as I mentioned to you earlier before we kind of came on air, that's one of the better Piqua teams I've seen probably since the teams with Brandon Sane and the state title team.
Talk about what are their weaknesses. I just didn't see many of them.
Yeah, I've seen some talk about who's the best quarterback in the league, and we've got a really good one here at Sidney and Cedric Johnson, and we're going to see another good one in Cleveland tonight. But the old kid last week was really, really good for Piqua, and obviously they can run the ball, but their biggest strength probably is their offensive and defensive line, and that's always been the case for Piqua, but they're really, really strong there this year with some great athletes up there.
Speaking of quarterback Cedric Johnson, he leads the Jackets obviously in passing and also runs the ball a lot, completing 56% of his passes this year for 941 yards, so almost 1,000 yards. I believe still the leading passer in the MVL in terms of yardage. 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Running the ball for the Jackets. Number 4, E.J. Davis, 1,300 yards last year, 76 attempts for 450 yards so far this year, and 7 touchdowns. Cedric Johnson, the quarterback, has 215 yards on 79 attempts and 3 touchdowns. And, of course, last time against West Carrollton, we saw a little bit of the two-back set with Devin Taborn, number 6, has 20 attempts on the year for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. Receiving for the Jackets, 4 guys that have equally seen the ball this year for over 200 yards apiece. Number 3, Avante Martin leading the way with 18 receptions for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. The sophomore, number 19, Sam Reynolds, has 16 catches for 219 yards and a touchdown. Jacob Wheeler, 15 catches for 232 yards and 2 touchdowns. And number 5, Isaiah Clark, 7 receptions for 202 yards and a touchdown. For the Jackets, doing the punting duties is going to be number 2, Wes Davidson, 18 punts for an average of 31 yards, has a long of a 51 on the year. And, of course, that was not a unit that, the Jackets would be bragging about last week. There were all kinds of troubles on the punt team, so hopefully they got that shirt up this week during practice.
Yeah, and 2 of the Jackets' losses, against Stebbins and then last week against Piqua, trouble with the, the exchange or, getting the ball to the punter, and that's a huge part of it because that's a huge swing in the game. Can mean a 30, 40-yard difference in field position, and that's something the Jackets have to take care of this week.
In kicking, we already mentioned him, but number 90, Carson Taylor, 16 for 17 on the year for extra points. 1 of 1 on field goals. Of course, that field goal came against this West Carrollton squad, a 34-yarder. Obviously a big-time weapon both in kickoffs and in field goals and extra points. For the Jackets, their defensive leaders, we already mentioned him, but number 6, Devin Taborn, 71 tackles on the year, also a forced fumble. Cam Vordermark, second on the team in tackles with 40, including he also has an interception, And Bo Davis, another linebacker, 33 tackles and a sack, 2 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries on the year. And lastly, Curtis Spangler, the last one we'll kind of mention here, 24 tackles, 1 forced fumble, no fumble recoveries. And Curtis Spangler, not that we root for all the Yellow Jackets, obviously, but Curtis Spangler is one of those kids that you really root for because not a kid when you saw him when he was younger, you would think that he would be contributing the way that he is right now. But he's just the definition of work hard and get better and listen, and just a really neat story for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, if I remember right, Kurt didn't even play his freshman year of football. He's just every year gotten better and better, and he's a huge contributor to that Yellow Jacket defense, and I think a reason why they've had so much more success this year.
Absolutely. So another beautiful night as well. We got to talk about that real quickly. How lucky have we been? It's felt like when we coached a couple years ago, it was raining every night, it felt like. But just another beautiful night. We got a little bit of a breeze as you see the American flags blowing. We'll show you that here in just a few minutes. The Yellow Jackets will be kicking, it looks like, with the wind when they kick off here. But couldn't ask for much better weather, could you?
No, as a fat guy like me, we don't like it when it's 90 degrees, and we don't have that. But it's also not really cold where everybody's got it bundled up. It's perfect for kind of a mid-season game in terms of the number of games that we're used to playing. But it's a great time for playoff football. Usually we might be in those snow suits, and the last time we played a home game here, it wasn't too bad. That next week was really, really cold when we faced LaSalle that year. So definitely a little different.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of LaSalle, of course, they are waiting in this area of the bracket. The winner of this game will take on Stebbins next week. I believe they were the number 7 seed, is that right?
Yes,
Region
that's
8.
correct.
So the winner of this game will travel to Stebbins and play there, and then the winner of that game, whoever plays Stebbins next week, will then get a date with number 2 LaSalle.
Assuming they're able to win their game.
That's true. No. That's true. I shouldn't put the horse before the cart, but LaSalle's pretty good. I think they got a pretty good shot.
And they got a pretty easy draw coming in there.
You're right. So the Yellow Jackets, looks like the band's getting ready. We'll go ahead and step away for just a moment, and then as they start playing, we'll go ahead and unmute our mics so that you can hear the Pride of Sidney, the marching band under the direction of Chris Adams and Todd Bridges. We'll be back with that in just a few moments when they take the field.
Terry Craigsteller. The band is led onto the field by field commanders Savannah Kilstern and Elizabeth Shaw. Please now rise and join the band for the playing of the Sidney High School alma mater. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month. With greetings like no other. To honor those who have fought, and for those who continue to fight to preserve our way of life. Please remain standing and join the band for the playing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
On Tuesday, November 3rd, Sidney City Schools will be asking voters to pass, for 10 years, a $7.3 million emergency property tax levy to generate $3.5 million necessary to support school operations. This levy will continue to support the day-to-day operations of our schools, such as staffing, utilities, and supplies, and help offset the projected deficit we show in our 5-year forecast. It will help us maintain the excellent programs we currently have and help us keep the focus on academic growth moving forward. It is well known that strong schools are vital to a strong community and vice versa. Please help us make Sidney a stronger and more vibrant community by supporting our schools.
Welcome again, everybody, to Sidney Memorial Stadium in 30-0 Field as we get ready for round 1 of the OHSAA playoffs. The Sidney Yellow Jackets hosting the West Carrollton Pirates. Once again, if you're just joining us, my name is Greg Snyder. I'm one of the assistant principals at Sidney High School and helping out with TV productions, and I'm along with Mr. Michael Ward.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, could you not hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then I got my dad, Ed Snyder, on stats over there. So pretty exciting. You know, it's about kickoff time. The Yellow Jackets won the toss and elected to defer. What do you expect from the defense here in this first series in hopes of stopping West Carrollton?
Well, obviously they're going to have to stop the the good quarterback there and then keep him contained. That's going to be a huge key to it early on.
Carson Taylor is going to tee it up for the Yellow Jackets as West Carrollton. Looks like they're going to send back number 2, DeJuan Howard, who's also probably going to start a running back tonight for the Pirates, of course, in the absence of number 1, Tyron Darby. Yellow Jackets once again coming in at 3-3, and West Carrollton coming in at 1-3. Looks like the clock is reset. We're ready for playoff football. Carson Taylor tees it up and lets it fly, and it's going to bounce around the 5-yard line. It's going to be picked up by number 5, Cedric Anthony. He's returning it up the left side, weaving in and out of defenders. He's going to be taken down by Conley New from behind at the 25-yard line, and that's where West Carrollton will start on the left hash. 1st and 10 from just over the 25 at the 26-yard line.
Pretty good coverage there by the Jackets. Didn't give him a chance to get really going and get up to full speed there.
So here comes the Pirate offense, being led by Kamari Cleveland, number 7. Once again, 63% completion rate, 733 yards on the year, 8 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions for the junior quarterback, who is probably going to be a highly sought-after recruit, I'd assume. He's going to go empty to start here as the West Carrollton Pirates send quads out to the right, 4 receivers to Cleveland's left, and there's going to be a screen pass to Howard. Howard makes a man miss, and now he's going to be taken down by a host of Yellow Jackets right about the line of scrimmage. Kind of a funky formation there to start. Yellow Jackets adjust well and do a nice job on the first play of the game.
Yeah, they had a little bunch there that they threw at him, but the Jackets did a nice job adjusting to it and stopping him for just a little bit of a gain there.
Call it 2nd and 9 after the gain of 1 on the pass from Cleveland to Howard. Yellow Jacket defensive line that they run out there to start. Keenan Johnson and Chip Swiger on the edges, and it looks like Evan Kennedy is going to start in the middle. Bo Davis and Devin Taborn at linebacker. Cleveland takes a snap. He's going to hand off to Howard around the left side. Howard hit hard, but stays on his feet. He's going to work out across the 33 to the 34-yard line. Boy, that's some yards after contact. Nice hard run there by the sophomore running back.
Yeah, he definitely delivered some contact there and definitely kept his feet moving and got some good gain. Short 3rd down here.
3rd and short. West Carrollton moving quickly. Same formation. Cleveland going to hand it off to Howard again. Looks like the same exact play. This time the Yellow Jackets are right there. Can they hold him up? Is Howard and the offensive line from the Pirates search forward for it looks like a yard. The official down here is signaling for a 1st down, so we'll see. And it is indeed a 1st down for the Pirates.
Look pretty close there. They don't measure too many anymore in today's game.
Yeah, and a lot of that if they put the ball initially on a hash mark, they know if they reach that mark that they get the 1st down. And of course that's the case here. West Carrollton huddles up this time. They'll break the huddle. They're going to send 3 receivers out, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. And McCandless, the tight end, is going to be in a wing position. Howard dots the I behind Kamari Cleveland. And Howard gets a handoff, and he's going to be met in the backfield by Chip Swiger. Number 78, the junior defensive end, gets some penetration and a loss of 2 or 3 on the play for West Carrollton.
Yeah, he was able to get in there before that play we really got started. He did a nice job of that.
So that's going to bring up a 2nd and long. As West Carrollton so far has shown 3 runs and a short pass. We'll see, this is the first time we'll see Cleveland drop back. And of course, whenever he drops back, you got to worry about his arm and his legs.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see what he dials up here on 2nd and double sticks.
Same formation except for the tight end moves to the other side. So we got twins to the left, 1 receiver to the right, and McCandless wing right. Fake to handoff to Howard. On the slant pass, it goes off of a Yellow Jacket helmet into the hands of Kurt Spangler. Spangler with the interception, and he's going to be taken down in West Carrollton territory, off of Chris Hudgens' helmet, into the hands of Kurt Spangler, and the Yellow Jackets take advantage of the first mistake of the ball game.
Yeah, and that's something that the Yellow Jackets wanted to get early here, was a turnover, get the ball back, and hopefully get some of the offense going and start this thing off right.
Boy, he put some zip on that one.
Oh, he did, yeah.
That thing bounced off of Chris Hudgens' helmet and took a big-time bounce, and luckily for the Jackets, right into the hands of Kurt Spangler. First play for the Jackets, Sed Johnson fakes the handoff to E.J. Davis, and he's going to get positive yards down to the 35-yard line. Looks like a gain of 6 on the first play. Of course, E.J. with a big game against West Carrollton that time, and he took the eyes of those linebackers and created a nice hole for Sed.
Yeah, Sed did a nice job of just getting right up in there and getting half of it on first down.
Almost 3 minutes into the ball game. We've had 1 possession for the Pirates that resulted in a turnover on the interception by Curtis Spangler. Now Sed Johnson with trips right and solo receiver left. Same play for the Jackets. This time the handoff goes to E.J. Davis. He eludes a tackler in the backfield, gets upfield, and he's going to get close to a first down. Looks like he has it to the 30-yard line. Could have been a loss of 3. Instead, it ends up a gain of 5 and a first down for the Jackets.
Boy, that's a big difference there. He needed to make that first guy miss, or that would have been a 3rd and long for the Yellow Jackets. But we got a first down, and we'll see what they dial up here.
Sidney flips the formation. They'll send 3 receivers to the left, and Martin, Clark, and Wheeler. That'll leave Sam Reynolds solo right with E.J. Davis and Cedric Johnson in the backfield. Doing the snapping duties, senior Brian Jones, as he gets ready to snap it to senior Cedric Johnson. The handoff goes to E.J. Davis up the middle again. He surges forward for a couple, gets a little bit of help from his offensive line. We'll call it a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. And that's reminiscent of last game against West Carrollton, where those early runs were 2 to 3 yards, but then later in the game wore West Carrollton down a little bit. I'm sure the Jackets will try to do that a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot there on that one, but you got to try to establish it early and just keep going to it every so often, and hopefully bust one later in the game as it goes on.
Jacket offensive line from left to right. You've got Isaiah Huggins, Evan Kennedy, Brian Jones. Looks like Keenan Johnson starting at right guard, and then Chip Swiger starting at right tackle. 2 receivers to each side of Johnson. He fakes the handoff, gets it out to Avante Martin. Martin cuts outside, gets a block from Huggins, gets inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Avante Martin makes the guy miss at the line of scrimmage, gets some nice blocking downfield from his lineman, and that's a first down inside the 10-yard line. Looks like they're going to count him out of bounds at the 8. Nice play there for the Jackets on their first pass play.
Yeah, really nice. You know, the Jackets, that's been a really good play for the Jackets this year, and Avante's had a lot of success running that screen.
So now the Yellow Jackets going to show their 2-back set for the first time. Of course, very effective against West Carrollton the first time. Although I think it was a little bit of a tendency, 100% run when they were in this set. I'm sure that they have some counters off of that tonight.
Yeah, you'd think at this point in the season they want to have some other things to go to.
The handoff goes to E.J. Davis. He gets around the right side toward the end zone, gets inside the pylon. That's going to be a touchdown. 8-yard touchdown run by E.J. Davis with the lead block from Devin Taborn, and the Jackets strike first. They're ahead 6-0. So E.J. Davis takes an outside zone play around the right side to put the Jackets ahead 6-0 here. Not quite halfway through the first quarter. And now the extra point from the snap of Miles Vordermark. The hold by Cedric Johnson. And the kick by Carson Taylor is up, and it is through. So 7:40 to go in the first quarter. Yellow Jackets lead 7-0. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. Well, Coach E.J. Davis with his 8th touchdown on the year. That's a good way to start for the Yellow Jackets, getting the turnover and then turning that turnover into points.
Yeah, and they had the screen game going there, the running game going a little bit. That's exactly what the Yellow Jackets want to do early in the game. So they've had a turnover and got some things going on offense. Let's see how they can do here, stopping the Pirates again on this series.
So a pretty big turnaround there from last week. Obviously, almost the exact opposite happened to the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, it was definitely the way that the Indians started last week, but they were able to keep it rolling. Let's see if the Yellow Jackets can do the same.
So Carson Taylor getting ready to kick off once again. Back to receive. Our number 5, Cedric Anthony, and number 2, DeJuan Howard.
Yeah, you see the Yellow Jackets always start from that kind of bunch formation. You never know what they're going to do there. Coach Dunges.
This kick is high and deep and into the end zone on the fly. An impressive kick by Carson Taylor results in a touchback. And once again, West Carrollton will take over pretty deep in their own territory, this time at the 20. Last drive started at their 26-yard line. So quite a weapon, as we always say, in Carson Taylor.
It's a big difference in the high school game when you have somebody that can kick it in the end zone and make sure that they don't get anything going there on the return.
So West Carrollton will start. It looks like they're going to place the ball on the left hash. They're conferring with the official, actually, and now they're going to put it in the middle of the field. Kamari Cleveland calling the signals for the Pirates. He breaks the huddle. They will send 2 receivers to the right and 2 receivers to the left. Cleveland has Howard. I'm sorry, not Howard. It looks like Green Jr. to his right. Anthony forced out of the pocket, and he looks for Sanders. Ball is just off of his hands, out of bounds. We do have a penalty flag on the field. Looks like an eligible man downfield for West Carrollton. We'll see what the Jackets do. Kind of an interesting decision here. Only a 5-yard penalty, or it could be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, as explosive as they are, sometimes that 5 yards isn't worth it.
So it looks like the Yellow Jackets accept the penalty. That'll be a 5-yard penalty back to the 15-yard line. Cleveland there showing some of his elusiveness, getting out of the pocket. Just couldn't quite connect with his receiver.
Yeah, it was a nice throw. The receiver just kind of let it go through his hands there. Not an easy catch, but definitely one at this point in the season in the playoffs you want to see made.
So Howard is in the game, but he's going to go out as a receiver to the left in the backfield with Cleveland as another sophomore running back, number 11, Terry Green Jr. A little bit of confusion for West Carrollton, and they'll call a timeout. So that'll bring up a 1st and 15. When we come back, Yellow Jackets lead 7-0. Okay, back here at 30-0 Field, Sidney Memorial Stadium, first round of the OHSAA playoffs. Jackets lead early on, 7-0. West Carrollton breaks the huddle from the sideline this time. Looks like Howard, the running back, kind of a new formation here, a tight wing formation for the Pirates. They do have Green Jr. in the backfield with Kamari Cleveland, the quarterback, number 7. Cleveland takes a snap. He's going to hand off to Howard on the end around, and he's met right at the 15-yard line, but Howard pushes forward to the 20-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 5, and we're right back to where we were before at 2nd and 10.
Yeah, we talked about whether we should accept or decline that one, and we end up at the exact same spot anyway. So
that Yellow Jacket defense now up front looks like Kennedy is taking this series off. You'll see the Yellow Jackets rotate a lot of guys up front, and Jackson Pettit right now is in as he lines up right over the center. Same formation for West Carrollton. Looks like tight wings with Green Jr. and Cleveland in the backfield, and Anthony all the way wide to the right
really
side.
Wide out here.
Cleveland drops back to pass. They're going to throw the slant. Sorry, that was not Anthony. Their numbers are a little hard to read, but that was number 9, Jordan Berry. Ball was just a little bit behind him, and it was probably a good thing it was, because Devin Taborn and Miles Vordermark were doing a nice job of getting into their zones, and they were right there. Good defense there by the Jackets.
Yeah, I think the Jackets recognize that when he gets that wide, there's probably a reason for it, and he was looking to come inside with that one from the get-go.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 for West Carrollton. Cleveland gets the call directly from the coach, and he'll come out to the huddle, and they're going to break the huddle with about 12 seconds on the play clock. Back to, it looks like they're going to go with a trips formation, empty actually. They're going to go empty. 2 receivers to the left, 3 to the right. Play clock winding down. I don't know if Cleveland will get this one off. He does not. That's going to be a delay of game penalty, and that's going to ring up a 3rd and 15. And of course, Coach Ward, you don't want to speculate one way or the other, but obviously with some injuries and you know, not so many guys dressed for West Carrollton, I'm sure that they got some guys that are playing a little bit out of position, and maybe that's causing some of the confusion here in the early going.
Yeah, it's always tough when you have guys go down and you have to make adjustments, and you can say all you want about practice during the week, but there's a different thing, you know, getting in on a Friday night, maybe when you haven't played as much or playing a different position, just adds to the things going on in your head and out there in the game.
So once again, the Jackets trying to get off the field as West Carrollton breaks the huddle with 10 seconds on the play clock this time. They go empty again, 3 receivers to the right for Cleveland, 2 to his left. Takes the snap, drops back to pass. Cleveland looking, he's going to go deep down the left sideline. Intended for Anthony, just off of his fingertips. Might have been a yard short, but it was right at the sticks. It would have been interesting had they completed. But instead, the West Carrollton punt team is going to come out on the field.
Yeah, just a little high there. Not a horrible throw, but a tough catch on the sideline there. And like you said, might have been short, but if he comes down with it, you never know.
Isaiah Clark back to return for the Jackets. He has 2 returns that he has not fair caught this year for an average of 17.5 yards. Doing the punting duties for West Carrollton is number 36, Noah Babb. He's averaging 30.5 yards per punt. He will take the snap at his 3-yard line. It's a good snap. The kick by Babb is off the side of his foot. It's going to bounce at the 30-yard line and take a jacket bounce toward the 25, where it's going to be downed right at the 26-yard line. So the Yellow Jackets once again will start in West Carrollton territory, this time even better field position, the 26-yard line. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. It's kind of a flip from last week's game, and it's still coming true a little bit there with the miscue of the punt there on special teams.
Yellow Jackets going to come out with 4 wide receivers and 1 running back, E.J. Davis, who has the first score of the ball game on the 8-yard scamper around the right end. Will join Cedric Johnson in the backfield, Martin and Isaiah Clark to the left as receivers, Jacob Wheeler and Sam Reynolds to the right. Looks like a 4-4 defense with 1 linebacker flexed out of the box for West Carrollton. The handoff's going to go to E.J. Davis. He's met the backfield. Good penetration there by the West Carrollton defense. Looks like number 4, Leon Neville's in on the play, along with a host of other West Carrollton Pirates. Good penetration there. A loss of 1 on the play for the Jackets, and the Jackets are behind the sticks.
Yeah, penetration right up the middle there. You know, I had a feeling the Yellow Jackets were going to try to get the run game established there again, and they did a nice job of snuffing that one out.
So we've got 2nd and 11. Jackets will send 3 receivers to the right. Ball's in the middle of the field. E.J. Davis will also line up to the right of Cedric Johnson, the quarterback. 1 for 1 on the game so far, and also with 1 carry for a nice gain. Johnson's going to roll out to the right, looking deep. He has Reynolds down the sideline. Ball's there. Reynolds catches it. Was he in bounds? No, out of bounds. Pretty good coverage there by West Carrollton. It looks like, once again, my eyes are going pretty bad, but I think that was number 9, Jordan Berry, the receiver that was on the coverage there. Really forced a tight window. Great throw by Ced, great catch by Sam, but not enough real estate to get the foot down.
Yeah, I mean, that's really about the only place he could put it with that good coverage, and just couldn't quite get it, ran out of real estate there.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Jackets, of course, in an interesting part of the field. Probably a little too long for a field goal attempt. So perhaps 2 plays here for the Jackets. Ced Johnson drops back to pass, screen pass, gets it to Reynolds. Reynolds will get some positive yardage inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. You can tell right away that was a screen pass, as there was really kind of a jailbreak. It looks like the Yellow Jackets are going to send out their field goal unit and try a long field goal here.
Yeah, really on that play, the Jackets were 1 block away from having something big there. You know, the linemen were ahead, and there was 1 guy that got through to stop that one, but he did a nice job of making the tackle for the Pirates.
So on the year, Carson Taylor 1 for 1 from 34 yards. This one's a 41-yard attempt. Carson Taylor with the snap from Johnson. Kick is up, it's long enough, and it is good. Carson Taylor
what a
from
kick.
41 yards gives the Jackets a 10-0 lead. And huge job there by the Jackets taking advantage. Once again, a great field position. Not exactly orthodox in terms of the high school game, but what a kick by Carson Taylor.
Yeah, it's always cool to see a good long kick in high school football, and not all teams have that ability, but the Jackets do with Taylor back there kicking the ball.
5:05 to go in the first quarter. Jackets now lead 10-0. We'll be back with a kickoff from Taylor in just a second. Well, you seen him there on the screen, Coach Ward. Obviously a great soccer player, but sure glad he's playing football too.
Yeah, I'm glad he made the decision to try to do both, and he's doing both. I know he's had a lot of success on the soccer field, and he's doing a great job out here on the football field as well.
And there's the kickoff sailing well into the end zone, even further than the last one, as that hits at the top of the letters. The last one was in the middle of the letters. Pretty impressive kick once again from Carson Taylor.
Kicked it so well we couldn't quite keep up with the camera there.
That's right. A lot going on up here in the press box tonight. So the ball will be at the 20-yard line for West Carrollton. That's where they'll take over once again, starting from their own 26 and then their own 20. And this is drive number 3 from their own 20 again. Looks like they're going to go on the left hash. And, of course, not a great start for West Carrollton, but still only down 10. This is an important drive for them, I'm sure.
You know, it's really important for them to get, I know the field goal was made there by Taylor, but it was really important for them not to give up another touchdown and fall further behind there. So we'll see what they do here.
Cleveland has Howard in the pistol formation. And he's going to hand it off to DeJuan Howard, the sophomore running back around the left end, makes a man miss. He's going to be taken down at the 25-yard line. Miles Vordermark on the play along with Devin Taborn. Solid gain on first down, though, a gain of 5. That's going to bring up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, nice job of getting to the edge there. And when they get a full head of steam, any of their athletes, you got to watch out because they can make guys miss and really get some yardage.
We've gone over the Yellow Jackets front line. And on the back end there, they have at cornerback Grant Fair and Donovan Johnson. And at safety right now, we have the Vordermark brothers, Cam at one safety and Miles at the other. Snap goes to Kamari Cleveland. He hands off to Ward. Ward has a hole, spin move, makes 2 men miss, another spin move. Ward working across the 40 to the 45-yard line. What a run by DeJuan Ward. Tyron Darby obviously not able to play, but that guy's pretty good right there.
Yeah, I don't play too many video games anymore. I forget which button it is that does the spin move, but he hit it a couple times on that run right there.
Impressive run by DeJuan Howard, and the Pirates needed that one. A big first down, and they're almost to midfield. They'll have the ball at their own 45-yard line as we approach 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. West Carrollton breaks the huddle. They're going to send 2 receivers to the right. They've liked this formation with McCandless as the wing. He'll be wing left this time with Howard in the pistol. Cleveland calls for the snap and gets it. He's going to hand it off to Howard once again. I'm sorry, that's Terry Green Jr. this time, giving Howard a break. That's going to be a gain of 5 or 6 as they enter into Jacket territory. We'll call it a gain of 6. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and 4 from the Jacket 49-yard line. Terry Green Jr. looks like he can move as well.
Yeah, last game we were really impressed with the West Carrollton running game, and we're starting to see it start to get going here in this one.
West Carrollton has so far taken their time on offense. They have the ability to go fast, but obviously with a lot of guys probably playing both ways this week, the Pirates will slow it down at times. They're going to have a wing to the right this time along with 2 receivers to the right. Solo left is Anthony. Cleveland drops back to pass. He's looking deep. Got all kinds of time. Now he's going to fire it off to the right side on the out route to Barry, just a little bit wide. Cleveland ever dangerous when he drops back, and you can see that he can throw the ball. He's been a little bit wide on a couple of throws, but he's sure got a cannon.
Yeah, and I think we had a penalty on that one. I think it was illegal man downfield again. It's tough on those plays like that because he had tons of time there, and when it goes for that long, it's tough for those linemen not to block their men downfield a little bit.
That was indeed the call, and once again, the Yellow Jackets accept the penalty. So instead of 3rd and 4, they'll take 2nd and 9. That moves the ball back into West Carrollton territory, as they will snap this one from their 46-yard line.
About 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
Two receivers to each side this time. No wing back for West Carrollton. Cleveland takes the snap. He drops back to pass. Gets a little bit of pressure from Jaden Swiger. Swiger trying to run him down from behind, but Cleveland escapes the pocket. He's going to get up to the 50-yard line. Good pursuit there by the Jackets to make sure that didn't turn into something bigger. But a gain of 4. Kamari Cleveland is going to make it right back to about where it was. 3rd and 5. 3rd and medium here. An important play for the Pirates and also for the Jackets. Obviously, kind of that danger territory where you might think about going for it on 4th down potentially. But I'm sure West Carrollton is just thinking about getting it right here.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to get the first down here so they don't have to make that tough decision on 4th.
There'll be 4 wide receivers again, 2 to each side for Cleveland. DeJuan Howard is going to be on the left of Cleveland. Kamari Cleveland, the junior quarterback, takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Howard, drops back to pass. He's escaping to the right. Kamari Cleveland chased by Devin Taborn. Cleveland's going to pick up the first down out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. Looks like he went out of bounds about the 43. That's going to be a first down, and when you collapse that pocket on him and give him a door to escape through, he can sure do it.
Yeah, that's why it's tough to play against a kid like that. You got to have a good job either spying on him or setting that edge, and there he was able to get outside and get some good yardage.
I said the 43-yard line. They actually marked him out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Yellow Jackets make some defensive substitutions up front. They're going to have Michael Frank, Carson Rozier, and Evan Kennedy up front. The linebackers, who we haven't mentioned yet, Kurt Spangler, Devin Taborn, and Bo Davis in the middle, and then Damon Dobbs will be your left outside linebacker. West Carrollton breaks the huddle again. 4 receivers, 2 to each side, and they're going to call a timeout. Looks like maybe had the wrong formation there. Timeout West Carrollton, their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining in the first half. 2:09 to go in the first quarter. Jackets lead 10-0, but West Carrollton's on the move. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so far, some quick stats here. Sed Johnson for the Yellow Jackets, 2 for 3 for 23 yards. Kamari Cleveland, 1 for 5, only 1 yard passing, including the interception. But he has run it twice for 13 yards, including a couple first down. DeJuan Howard on the ground, 6 carries for 37 yards so far. And Terry Green Jr. also with 1 carry for 6 yards. West Carrollton been impressive on the ground so far, and you can see that they're not too far off in the passing game either.
Yeah, over 6 yards a carry. That'll get you some first downs, and they're moving the ball here and trying to get a score.
2 receivers to each side. They'll send Anthony in motion. They're going to hand it off to Anthony on the jet sweep. Cam Vordermark can't quite bring him down, but Devin Taborn and Curtis Spangler do for a short gain. Looks like a gain of 2 around the left edge. Just another weapon for West Carrollton, but good pursuit there laterally by the Jackets.
Yeah, it looks like they might have done a little jet shovel pass there, making sure that that's going forward so that if it gets dropped, it's an incomplete pass.
Those receivers don't want handoffs. They want receiving yards.
That's right. That's right.
So that's going to bring up 2nd and 8 from the 39-yard line as we approach a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. West Carrollton breaks the huddle. They're going to send Barry and Sanders to the right. McCandless is going to be a tight end to the left. He's covered up by the receiver up top. Handoff's going to go to DeJuan Howard. He's met in the backfield. What a play there by the Yellow Jackets. Waiting for him to get up by number 59, Carson Rozier. Nice play by Rozier with the TFL there. A loss is going to bring up a 3rd and 11 for West Carrollton. That's a great penetration by the defensive line.
And that's a huge play. You know, if they gain 2 or 3 yards there, they've got a nice, nice short yardage for 3rd down. And with the loss, now they're looking at double sticks, and that's always tough on 3rd down.
So 3rd and 11 from the 42-yard line, 50 seconds to go and running in the first quarter. Yellow Jackets lead 10-0. West Carrollton breaks the huddle. This time they're going to go with double tight ends, 2 tight ends, 1 to each side, and a receiver to each side as well. The handoff's going to go to Howard. Howard busting through the middle, inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line. Only a gain of 3. That's going to bring up an interesting 4th and 8. Play made by the Yellow Jackets, several defenders, but Bo Davis was probably the first one there. That might be the last play of the first quarter. It's going to bring up a 4th and 8.
Yeah, you have to feel with the play call there that they were probably looking to just get a shorter yardage to go for it on 4th down.
And that will be the end of the first quarter. 10-0, a good quarter by the Jackets. We'll be back with some first quarter stats and to preview the second quarter, but we'll step away for just a moment. Yellow Jackets lead 10-0. Okay, back at 30-0 field, Sidney Memorial Stadium. We'll get the scoreboard fixed here. Good job, Coach Ward. Yellow Jackets on offense, we talked about their passing stats. E.J. Davis in that first quarter, 4 carries for 13 yards and a touchdown. Sed Johnson, 1 carry for 6 yards. And leading the way receiving the ball for the Yellow Jackets, Avante Martin had a catch for 20 yards on the screen pass. Cleveland turns the wrong way, or Green went the wrong way, and on 4th and 8, a little mix-up in the backfield is going to give the ball back to the Jackets. A loss of 1 on the play. Yellow Jackets take over at their own 40. Big play there by the defense.
Yeah, and, you know, if you're a West Carrollton fan watching at home, that's a little unfortunate, you know, especially after the timeout. You're hoping that you get a good play call there and get it, which, you know, they probably did. But with the confusion, unfortunately, weren't able to convert, and now the Yellow Jackets get it back, 1st down.
Yellow Jackets have had 2 drives so far. The first one resulted in a touchdown, an E.J. Davis 8-yard touchdown run around the right side. Last one started at the 26, ended up at the 24, but a 41-yard Carson Taylor field goal. And the Yellow Jackets have points on each of the first 2. This is the first time that they've started in their own territory, but still good field position at their own 40. Sed Johnson drops back to pass, looking left, now running right as he's forced out of the pocket. That's going to be a sack. Sed Johnson sacked for about a 3-yard loss by number 6, Tony Buckner, the junior linebacker. And that's going to put the Jackets behind the sticks. 2nd and 12 on the loss on the play. Nice job there by the West Carrollton defensive line.
Yeah, really nice job getting some penetration, messing things up in there. And Sed just really didn't have much room to go anywhere there.
So Yellow Jackets come out with 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. E.J. Davis joins Sed Johnson in the backfield. Johnson calls for the snap. Option to the right. Johnson fakes the pitch, keeps it himself, spins up to the 45-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 7. Get most of it back there as it's going to bring up a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5. Good decision there by Sed Johnson. Protect the ball, get some positive yardage, and give yourself a chance on 3rd down.
Yeah, and he had a nice fake there that kind of drew the defense outside, and he was able to get up inside of it and get some good yards.
So 3rd and 5, Yellow Jackets line up with 3 receivers to the left. Sam Reynolds by himself to the right. E.J. Davis and Sed Johnson in the backfield. Snap goes to Sed Johnson. Same play to the other side. Johnson keeps it again, but this time won't get any. He stopped at the line of scrimmage. Nice play there by the West Carrollton defense. Looks like number 6 again on the play. Tony Buckner, and the Yellow Jackets will be forced to punt.
Yeah, it looked like he might have had something there, you know, but the defender did a nice job acting like he was going to play the pitch and then closing that down and making a good play there.
So this is a unit that the Jackets, quite frankly, struggled with a little bit last week. So hopefully this one goes well if you're a Yellow Jacket fan, is they're going to snap it from the 45-yard line. Miles Vordermark will snap it. Wes Davidson, the junior punter, will do the punting duties. Davidson set to take the snap about the 33.5-yard line. Good snap. Davidson gets it, and he punts it, and it's a pretty good one. High. Be tough to return, and it's going to bounce at the 25-yard line and go inside the 20, inside the 15. It's going to be down by the Jackets at the 13. I'd say that was a nice job by the punt team. Wes Davidson with a nice punt. West Carrollton with a good stop on defense, but starting deep in their own territory at their own 13-yard line.
Yeah, it was a nice bounce for the Yellow Jackets there.
And of course, we said it before the game, but once again, Coach Ward, why don't you tell them about the Vespa 50-50 drawing?
Yeah, again, you're looking at VespaQuarterbackClub.com. You have the opportunity to buy some 50-50 tickets there every week. In addition, you can, for $20, sign up online and become a member of Vespa, and that allows you to attend meetings. You get a free program at every home game, and it's just a great organization that helps the Sidney football program out. Again, VespaQuarterbackClub.com.
So West Carrollton taking the field. Looks like they're going to go with more of a conventional I backfield this time. So a different formation that we haven't seen yet. Cleveland takes the snap. He's going to hand it off to Howard. Spin move once again by Howard as he busts loose. Howard up to the 30-yard line. That's going to be a first down and a gain of 17 yards. Howard making some guys miss at the line of scrimmage, and then at the second level as well. Another impressive run by sophomore running back DeJuan Howard. West Carrollton going quickly.
Yep, running hard here. We see what they go here.
Cleveland takes the snap. He's going to hand off to Howard again. Nice hole on the left side, but this time he trips up in the backfield, stumbles forward for a couple of yards. We'll call it 3 yards up to the 33-yard line, bring up 2nd and 7, and West Carrollton will slow it down and huddle.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job of delivering the blow there to the defense and getting some tough yardage, but also using that spin move a lot that he really, really likes.
I used to know another guy who liked to spin a little bit, and Northwestern's telling him he's not allowed to do that.
Yeah. It is a little different at the high school level doing that spin move versus at the D1 college level.
Yeah, there's usually somebody there when you spin around. Handoff's going to go to the fullback this time, number 6, Buckner. He's had a couple of really nice defensive plays. So the trap play by West Carrollton's going to net about 2 yards. That's going to bring up 3rd and 5. Once again, 3rd and medium, manageable for West Carrollton, as opposed to earlier in the ballgame where it seemed like it was 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 consistently.
And this is a big one for them. They need to get this one so they can keep the ball, keep the chains moving, and get something going here offensively so they can give their defense a little bit of a rest.
So Cleveland goes all the way over to the sideline, gets the play call, and now he relays that to his team. West Carrollton's been in the I formation this drive. They're going to send a tight end to the left along with a receiver to the left. Fullback Buckner and Howard dots the I in the backfield. Fake handoff this time to Howard. Cleveland setting up, and he's going to throw and hit number 9, Jordan Berry, but it's going to be short of the sticks, a gain of 3. And it's going to bring up 4th and 2, an interesting decision here for the Pirates.
Yeah, this is a tough one. If you decide to go for it here and don't get it, that really gives the Jackets some great field position.
So 4th and 2, looks like no signs of the punt team. And the Yellow Jackets keep the defense on the field, obviously. West Carrollton breaks the huddle, and they're going to send a tight end to the right, receiver to the right as well. I backfield. Handoff is going to go to Howard. Howard cuts to the right. He's caught in the backfield, and the Yellow Jackets get there as a team. And once again, the Yellow Jackets hold on 4th down. Great play by the Yellow Jackets. It looks like Kurt Spangler got there first, and then several Yellow Jackets, along with Brian Jones, take him down. And the Yellow Jackets going to start in West Carrollton territory. Just a huge play by the defense.
Wow. Yeah, you can't overestimate how important that is. And now they get the ball, inside the 40-yard line, and this is where the Yellow Jackets have to take advantage of it and put some more points on the board.
The West Carrollton defense has really done a nice job after that first drive of limiting the Yellow Jackets in terms of their yardage.
They made some adjustments and really settled down, yeah.
Yellow Jackets go with 2 running backs. Sed Johnson fakes the handoff, passes it to Vontae Martin. Martin has the first down inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. So that's the first pass we've seen out of the 2-back set. Surprised West Carrollton a little bit. Nice call by Coach DeVere. A gain of 19 to Martin. So he has 2 catches now for 39 yards. And the Yellow Jackets are inside the red zone at the 18-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10 from there.
Yeah, nice play. Yellow Jackets, that's obviously been one of their better plays this year, and Martin does a nice job of catching it, just getting upfield and getting what he can.
So 2 backs once again, 2 receivers to the right. Johnson's going to hand it off to E.J. Davis around the right side. E.J. Davis has some blocking, gets inside the 15, down to the 12-yard line. Good patient running there by E.J. Davis. He could have really gotten impatient with that one, but let his blockers do the work. Nice gain of 6 on the play, and that'll bring up a second and 4 for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, he did a nice job of getting behind Devin Taborn there, who's leading him around the edge, and did a nice job of getting upfield after he was able to turn the corner there.
Jackets stay with 2 receivers. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and 2 backs in the backfield. E.J. Davis steps up a little bit. Handoff's going to go, the fake handoff to Devin Taborn. Nice job by Jacob Wheeler. I don't know if he realized he did it there, but the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. West Carrollton had a chance for that interception, but Wheeler was blocking the guy who was trying to get the interception, and the ball falls harmlessly to the ground. And we'll still have a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, depending on how you look at it. For the Jackets, but a dangerous play there.
I was just going to say, very dangerous one there. It is tough sometimes, especially as the field cadets, to get that short side screen going like the Jackets like to.
So 2 receivers, 7:04 to go in the first half. Johnson takes a handoff. He'll hand it off to Taborn. Taborn is caught in the backfield for a big loss all the way back to the 19-yard line. So that's going to be a loss of 6 or 7 on the play, and the Yellow Jackets going to be forced to try another field goal.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the Jackets there. They just didn't quite have that one blocked the way they needed to, and good penetration by West Carrollton to snuff that one out.
So Carson Taylor going to try his 2nd field goal of the ball game. First one he hit from 41 yards. Of course, he has a 34-yarder earlier in the year against West Carrollton. This one is going to be placed at the 26-yard line, so a 36-yard attempt. Yellow Jackets have a late substitution. Here comes the snap, good hold, but the kick is into the line. It's going to be picked up by West Carrollton, rumbling down the right side. Number 10, Caden Gibbs at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, and that's well, maybe not a touchdown. We'll see here. The officials are back here conferring. Are you allowed to return that? I thought you were allowed to return a blocked field goal.
Yeah, I believe so, unless they felt like somebody was down when he picked it up or something.
But no officials moved with the ball there. It looked like the laces didn't get turned there. Everything was just a little bit off for the Yellow Jackets, and that caused the low kick. It was blocked and returned. Number 10, Caden Gibbs, the sophomore running back and linebacker, took it down the right side. The the officials once again are talking this over. We'll see what they end up calling.
Yeah, this is a big one here in this game.
Looks like they're placing the ball at the 28-yard line, and they're going to go over and talk to the West Carrollton coach. While they do that, we'll step away for just a moment as the Yellow Jackets lead 10-0, 6:10 to go in the first half. Okay, so we're back, and it looks like they decided on the 35-yard line for the spot. Didn't get an explanation, but 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line on the right side. As West Carrollton breaks the huddle with 2 receivers to each side. Kamari Cleveland is joined by DeJuan Howard in the backfield. Cleveland calls for the snap and gets it. He's going to hand it off to Howard around the right side. He keeps it. Cleveland fakes it, keeps it. He's spun down by number 76, Evan Kennedy. It's going to be a short gain on the play. Gain of 3 to the 38-yard line. We do have a flag on the play. We'll see what the call is. Looks like maybe we're talking about a face mask of the 15-yard variety, possibly.
Yeah, it looks like a Yellow Jacket has to come off.
That's going to be a personal foul on number 78, Jaden Swiger. That's going to take the ball into Yellow Jacket territory. That's correct. Across the 50-yard line. 15-yard penalty, and West Carrollton gets another first down all the way to the Yellow Jacket 47-yard line. Boys, feels like a big point in the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Things are, kind of going all over the place, and with the playmakers they have, that might be to their advantage.
So 2 receivers to each side, Barry and McCandless to the right of Cleveland. Sanders and Anthony to his left. DeJuan Howard joins Kamari Cleveland in the backfield. Cleveland looking to the right side, has a man. Nice throw, nice catch. Catch made by Jordan Berry, the junior wide receiver. It's going to be enough for a first down close to the 30-yard line. Out of bounds at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 for West Carrollton, and they're moving the ball.
Yeah, nice route there, and he did a nice job of delivering the ball right where it needed to be, and first down, and they're moving the chains.
Same formation for West Carrollton this time, twins to each side. Cleveland and Howard in the backfield. Kamari Cleveland, the junior quarterback, drops back to pass. Getting a little pressure from Kennedy up the middle. He's going to dump it off to the right side to Howard. Howard makes a man miss at the 30, gets up to the 26-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 6, it looks like. Bring up 2nd and short. Good decision there by Cleveland not to force something deep. Instead, he hits his check down man for positive yardage.
Yeah, he did exactly what he needed to do, find the open man and get 4 or 5 yards and line up on 2nd down and go at it.
So the Yellow Jackets defense so far has kind of been in bend but don't break mode, as West Carrollton hasn't scored yet, but West Carrollton certainly with one of their better drives of the ball game here, threatening down at the 27-yard line. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Cleveland has 2 receivers to each side, calls for the snap. He's going to drop back to pass again. Get some pressure on the inside. He's going to force his way out to the left side, and he's going to tuck it and run it. Cleveland's going to run out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Short gain on the play. Looks like he got a couple, and that's going to bring up 3rd and short. Good job by the Yellow Jackets there of not letting Cleveland get more, and that's going to bring up that 3rd and short.
Yeah, you know, and they did a nice job of stretching it out. He only gained a couple, but you have to think, you know, they went forward in their own territory earlier. This is definitely 2-down territory for the Pirates.
Scores from around the area. Walpock and Lima Shawnee are knotted at 0. Butler losing to Franklin late in the second quarter, 7-0. West Carrollton breaks the huddle. 2 receivers to each side once again for Cleveland. He has Howard in the backfield. Cleveland will keep it himself after the fake handoff to Howard. He's got enough for the first down, it appears, down near the 20-yard line. Officials are signaling for a first down. That'll be a gain of 5. And West Carrollton just keep moving down the field, and they're down to the 20.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job of mixing it up a little bit, and Yellow Jackets are having a tough time getting off the field here.
We're nearing the end of the first half. It seems like West Carrollton, I don't know what the time of possession is or anything, but it seems like they've had the ball a lot.
It does. They've done a nice job when they've had it, and just haven't been able to punch it in yet.
Cleveland, same formation, has Howard to his right this time. Dropping back to pass. Kamari Cleveland looking to the right. Has a man just off the hands of McCandless. He was along the sideline there, and I think he looked down to see where his feet were off of his hands. Could have been a gain of 6 or 7, but instead it's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 20.
Yeah, he was either looking at his feet or looking to turn upfield. Either one. Definitely didn't keep his eye on ball, and now the Yellow Jackets have a chance to stop him on 2nd here.
Another score from another game. St. Mary's beating Greenville, 2 teams that the Sidney faithful are pretty familiar with. 35-0 in the first half.
Yeah, and those are 2 teams that haven't gotten to play very much over the years.
You're right. So once again, 2 receivers to each side. Pistol formation this time for DeJuan Howard. Cleveland looks over to the sideline to get the signal. He's going to pitch it to Howard to the left side. Ball's on the ground, but right back in the hands of Howard. He's going to get positive yardage down to the 16-yard line. Something we saw from the Yellow Jackets last week, and they weren't able to get the ball back. They're a fortunate bounce for the Pirates in the gain of 4.
Yeah, that was definitely fortunate for them, but they were able to get something out of that, and brings up a 3rd and manageable for them.
So 3rd and 6. Once again, West Carrollton, I don't know their kicking situation, but have not kicked many extra points on the year, so you'd assume this is 4-down territory no matter what.
Right.
Whereas the Jackets might think about kicking field goals. So 3rd and 6, as we're getting close to 3 minutes to go in the first half. This has been a time-eating drive as well. 3 receivers to the right in a bunch formation for West Carrollton. And we're going to get a timeout. A little bit of confusion for the Pirates. They'll take their final timeout of the first half. 3rd and 6. Oh, wait. Looks like they called a delay of game first before they got the timeout, so never mind.
Ooh, that's a
going
huge
to move it back
penalty
5
at this
yards.
point.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It's just a huge penalty at this point. You know, difference between 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 11 is huge. And you know, even if they had a kicker, 5 yards anytime you're down at this territory, it makes a big difference.
So clock winding once again. It's going to go under 3 minutes. 20 on the play clock. West Carrollton breaks the huddle, facing that 3rd and 11 from the 21-yard line. They're going to send 3 receivers to the right, Barry, McCandless, and Sanders. That'll leave Anthony solo to the left. Cleveland's going to roll out to the right. He has a man. He hits McCandless, catches it at the 15-yard line, gets inside the 13-yard line. That's going to bring up a 4th down, I believe, but it's going to be 4th and very short. Really good positive gain there. Nice pitch and catch there from Cleveland to McCandless.
Yeah, and even when he caught it, you know, it looked like it was going to be 5 or 6 yards left to go for 4th down, but he did a nice job turning upfield, keeping his legs moving, and getting it down to where it's only 4th and 2.
4th and 2 from the 12. Big play upcoming. So far, 2 4th downs that West Carrollton has gone for it, and the Jackets have been pretty successful defensively, stopping both of those. We'll see if they can do it a 3rd time here, or if 3rd time's a charm for West Carrollton. They're going to send 2 receivers to each side. They need to get to about the 10-yard line. Send Anthony in motion. Handoff, fake handoff, excuse me. Cleveland kid takes it up the middle. He fooled everybody, including me, into the end zone. A 12-yard scamper by number 7, Kamari Cleveland, as he had a beautiful fake to number 5, Cedric Anthony. Kept it up the middle, fooled everybody. Got a 12-yard touchdown run, and it's a 10-6 ball game.
Yeah, and it wasn't just you. You know, he had me fooled as well. That was a great fake, and definitely had the
great play call too.
Yes, great play call, and the defense was fooled, and just a nice finish to that drive for West Carrollton.
West Carrollton, as we kind of suspected, or it looks like they're going to line up to go for 2 points here from the 3-yard line. So they'll try to make this a 10-8 ball game. They're going to line up in their I formation, tight end to the right. Buckner, the fullback. Howard, the tailback. Cleveland under center. Takes the snap. He's going to toss it to Howard. Howard working around the right side. He's going to be hit at the 2-yard line. Fights forward to the 1, but doesn't get to the goal line. Great job by the Yellow Jacket defense. That was a case where one guy wasn't going to bring him down. So the Yellow Jackets did a nice job of getting multiple guys to the ball and stopping that important 2-point play.
Yeah, when he put his foot in the ground and turned upfield, I really thought he had it. But the Yellow Jacket pursuit came across and kind of wrapped him up and got him down. So now we're at 10-6.
10-6, 2:41 to go in the first half. The Yellow Jackets will get the kickoff, and we'll be back for that kickoff in just a moment. Well, Coach Ward, great drive there by West Carrollton when they needed it.
Yeah, you know, I thought the 3rd down play, I mean, obviously the 4th down, or the touchdown call there was great, but the 3rd down play really set him up there to be able to have some different options, and just really good play calls there at the end of the drive to finish that one off for West Carrollton, and it's definitely a close ball game here.
McCandless, number 3, Cole McCandless, is set to kick it off from the 40-yard line, left hash. He kicks it. It's a short kick. It's going to bounce at the 35-yard line, go out of bounds. Traditionally, we've seen Coach Dunn just make them re-kick it. We'll see what he elects to do here.
I would be surprised if he didn't, honestly. Looks like he's thinking about it for once.
He is thinking about it.
Might make me jump out of his seat if he takes the ball there.
He's going to make him reset. So we're going to re-kick from 5 yards back. The kickoff this time is going to go from the 35-yard line.
I might have checked his temperature if he hadn't. So.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen Coach Dunn just ever not make him re-kick, but he was definitely thinking about it there for a second.
He just wanted to keep us on his toes.
The reasoning behind that is you got a lot of two-way players. They just ran all the way down the field. Your team didn't really even have to move, and now they have to do the same thing, but from 5 yards further back.
Yep, and obviously West Carrollton wasn't trying to kick it deep there, so they're either going to kick it short again or give the Yellow Jackets a chance by kicking it deep to our guys.
Of course, we said that St. Mary's score. I've said a million times. I've probably said it on air. I think Doug Fry used to do that on purpose, kick it out of bounds and then go onside the next kick. McCandless tees it up at the 35 this time, and there's the onside kick. It's going to stay in bounds, and it's on the turf. West Carrollton and Sidney both battling for it. Looks like the Yellow Jackets are pointing as if they have it. Bo Davis comes up with the ball. Boy, that was dangerous. The Yellow Jackets do get the ball near midfield at their own 46-yard line, but almost a huge play for West Carrollton.
Yeah, I think Yellow Jackets must have cashed in some of those chips that they lost last week when they had all those bounces go the other way. They're getting a few tonight, and it's made some difference in this one.
So the Yellow Jacket offense back on the field. Sed Johnson calls for the snap, and now they'll look over to the sideline for the play call. 3 receivers to the right. Wheeler, Clark, and Reynolds. Avante Martin to the left. Sed Johnson's going to roll out to the right, but not before we have a stoppage in play and a timeout by West Carrollton. So right before the snap, West Carrollton takes a timeout, and with 2:37 to go in the first half, Yellow Jackets lead by 4, 10-6. We'll be back for the conclusion of the first half in just a moment. Well, Coach Ward, we talked about how big the last drive was for West Carrollton. You know, the Yellow Jackets will get the ball coming out here to start the second half. Obviously looking for points here, but above all, you want to go into the halftime break with the lead.
Yeah, you have to maintain the lead, make sure you don't give them, the ball back here right away with time left on the clock where they can score, but you'd love to tack on some points here before the half.
Yellow Jackets were able to run the ball pretty well early, but have had a little bit of a struggle lately. The West Carrollton defense has really tightened up in the middle.
Yes, they have. They've done a nice job of using that penetration to get things stopped before it gets going.
E.J. Davis moves to the left of Cedric Johnson, and we're going to get a false start penalty on the Yellow Jackets. That's going to back them up 5 yards to their own 41-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 15. Halftime score from another game. Franklin leads Butler at halftime, 7-0.
Yeah, and definitely not the way the Jackets wanted to start this drive.
Xenia beating Tecumseh in the second quarter, 12-6. It's either 12-0 or 12-6. So all kinds of playoff games going on in the area. Pretty exciting, actually, even though some teams are sitting at home watching right now because they have the bye, which is obviously a good thing for them. Sed Johnson takes a snap, drops back to pass. He's going to hit Wheeler on a hitch route. Wheeler makes a man miss, gets up across midfield inside of West Carrollton territory. It's going to be a first down, gain of 16 on the play. Beautiful pitch and catch, but an even better move after the catch by Jacob Wheeler.
Yeah, I've had Jacob for 3 years before this year, and I didn't know he had that move in him. That was a heck of a move and a way to get upfield.
One cut, make a man miss, get upfield. They're actually going to spot it at the 43-yard line. So the Yellow Jackets not going complete hurry up here, but are picking up the pace as we approach 2 minutes to go in the first half. Johnson rolling out to the left this time, throwing on the run, hits Martin on the sideline. It's going to be a gain of 6 or 7 on the play. They do stop the clock, so Martin gets out of bounds. Stop the clock with 2:06 to go in the first half. That's going to bring up a 2nd and short. Nice pitch and catch there from Sed Johnson to Avante Martin.
Yeah, they're definitely getting the passing game going here a little bit, and that might open up the running game as well.
Johnson dropping back to pass again, gets a little pressure, eludes that pressure, escapes to the left. Sed Johnson inside the 30, out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Beautiful moves in the backfield by Sed Johnson to avoid that pressure.
Yeah, I really do think somebody's up here playing a video game tonight with some of these great moves that we're seeing.
I was going to say, I was hanging out with my mom the other night. She was watching Dancing with the Stars. I saw that same stuff.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Great move by Sed Johnson in the backfield. Good pressure by West Carrollton, but a little bit better move by Sed Johnson in the backfield. That gets the Yellow Jackets a first down. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. 1:58 is the exact time. 3 receivers to the right for Johnson. E.J. Davis to his left. Fake handoff to Davis. Johnson keeps it. He has a hole inside the 20, 15, 10, 5. Count them off into the end zone. Sed Johnson keeps it for a 27-yard touchdown run, and the Jackets extend their lead from 10-6 to 16-6.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, in the Jackets' wins this year, that's what we've seen from them is being able to answer after a score by the other team, and that's just a huge drive there by the Jackets to punch one in after a good drive by West Carrollton.
A very quick drive for the Jackets. A couple passes, a nice run by Cedric Johnson there at the end, and Carson Taylor will come on to try to make it an 11-point game. Right now it stands at 10 at 16-6. Good snap by Vordemark, good hold by Johnson. The kick is up and it is in, and that makes it 17-6. 1:50 to go in the first half. The Yellow Jackets will be kicking off to the Pirates in just a moment. Well, Coach, Cedric Johnson, the 5'10", 150-pound senior, had everybody fooled there. It was a similar play. It wasn't on the jet sweep, but you fake it to E.J. Davis. Nice hole, opens up the middle. He cuts down the left sideline and takes it 27 yards to the house.
Yeah, definitely the same concept there behind the plays, and just a really nice read, and did a nice job of, once he got through the line, getting to the outside and getting to the corner of the end zone there, and Yellow Jackets now have an 11-point lead.
Ced Johnson really having a nice ball game, throwing the ball and running the ball. 5 for 7, throwing the ball for 65 yards, 6 carries for 47 yards, and the touchdown. Vontae Martin really off to a good start for the Yellow Jackets. 3 catches for 46 yards. Carson Taylor's going to tee it up at the 40-yard line. Yellow Jackets break the huddle. Back to receive, number 5, Cedric Anthony, and number 2, DeJuan Howard for the Pirates. Kickoff by Taylor is another good one, kind of helicopter style. It's going to be returned at the 1-yard line by Anthony. Anthony cuts up the middle to the 20, to the 25. He has a hole. It's going to be taken down by Wes Davidson just across the 30 at the 33-yard line, and that was a dangerous one. Good job by the Jackets to at least get him to the turf, but a nice return by Anthony.
Yeah, it sets them up pretty good. They've got about a little over a minute and a half left to go here, and the way they can throw it around, anything's possible for them.
So West Carrollton's going to take over at the 33 with 1:42 to go. No timeouts, as they've had to use all of their timeouts so far. The Yellow Jackets still have 3 timeouts in their pocket. Sidney going to send out a defensive line of Michael Frank, Carson Rozier, and Brian Jones.
Yeah, and with no timeouts here, you have to think Cleveland's got the arm to throw to the sideline, so wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of outs and use that outside passing game to really try to get him down the field here with only 1:40 to go.
West Carrollton's going to send 3 receivers to the left. DeJuan Howard and Kamari Cleveland in the backfield. Cleveland's going to roll out to the left. Bo Davis chasing him from behind. Cleveland's going to run and get out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Short gain on the play. He'll have 2. Clock stops with 1:35 to go in the first half. And that's going to bring up, they gave him 3, excuse me, to the 36-yard line. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and he really wanted to get that ball downfield still, but with the pursuit coming from his right side, he just didn't have time to set up and deliver that ball.
Number 9, Jordan Berry, runs the play in for West Carrollton as they break the huddle. Once again, 2nd and 7. They'll send 3 receivers to the right and 2 to the left. So Cleveland will be alone in the backfield. Play clock at 1, and they just get the snap off. Cleveland back to throw. It's going to escape up the middle, but the Jackets are there with a sack. Brian Jones and Michael Frank. The Jackets only rushed 3 there, but those 3 are effective, and Coach Dunges is going to call timeout.
Yeah, that was a big play by the Jackets, and now they need to get a stop here on 3rd, and as the reason Coach Dunges called that is to try to get the ball back for one more time and tack something on before the half.
So 3rd and 8 from the 35-yard line, 1:24 to go in the first half. Yellow Jackets call their first timeout. We'll be back with the 3rd down play in just a second. So a lot of pieces to the puzzle moving here, Coach Ward. We were just kind of talking about possible reasons why Coach Dunges would take that timeout. The obvious would be, hey, we want the ball back because we want to score, but also maybe some special teams things that would have something to do with that.
Yeah, the chicken in me there probably would have, let it run out and see what we could have done next half. But I don't mean to question him because I love the aggressiveness, and there's a part of me that wishes I had that the guts to do that all the time.
West Carrollton breaks all. They're going to send 4 receivers to the right again.
Quad's right.
Yeah, Quad's right. Although the inside receiver should not be eligible as he's being covered up. Cleveland dropping back to pass. He's going to roll to the right, and it's going to be an incomplete pass. Pass was intended on the right sideline for number 23, Jarrell Sanders. It falls incomplete, and that's going to bring up what the Jackets wanted there, a 4th and 8, 1:19 to go. West Carrollton's going to send out the punt team. And Coach Dunn just looks like a genius right now.
Yes, he does. Yeah, absolutely. And, I think Cleveland wants to have that one back because he did have a guy open there, and he's so good at delivering the ball. Unfortunately, he just didn't have it on that one. So the Jackets get a chance to get it back here before the half.
So back to punt, number 36, Noah Babb, the senior punter. He's standing at his own 24-yard line, waiting the snap. He gets that snap. It's a little high. The kick is off, and it's going to hit the ground at the 35-yard line. Isaiah Clark muffs it and now tries to get it back and doesn't, and West Carrollton is going to recover it. So West Carrollton takes over deep in Jacket territory. A big play there as Buckner comes up with the fumble recovery, and boy, what a change of events there for the Yellow Jackets.
Huge play.
Looked like they had a chance to extend their lead, and instead now West Carrollton looking to cut into that lead.
Yeah, and I think, Coach Coleman has nightmares about scenarios like this. Think the offense is getting the ball back, and now they're right back out on the field.
So Kamari Cleveland taking the snap. He's got 2 receivers at each side, drops back to pass. Looking deep to the right side, has Barry. Barry tiptoes and does get his feet in bounds, controls the ball for a 12-yard gain and a 11-yard gain down to the 11-yard line. Nice pitch and catch there, and the clock stops with 1:02 to go in the first half.
Yeah, again, there's that out that we talked about, looking to use the sideline to stop the clock. And now with where they're at in a minute to go, they've got a lot of options.
Yeah, the run and the pass are both in the playbook at this point. DeJuan Howard in the backfield. Of course, we've seen some great runs from him so far. Cleveland calls for the snap. He's going to drop back to pass. Looking to the right side, has a man, but well covered by Grant Fair. Ball was delivered right at the pylon, but was just out of bounds, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 10, only 4 seconds off the clock. Nice coverage there by Fair.
Yes, he did a nice job, using the sideline to his advantage and making that a really tough throw on Cleveland. He almost did it, but couldn't quite make that one fit in there.
Play clock is approaching 15 seconds as West Carrollton breaks the huddle. They're going to come out with twins to each side once again. Howard in the backfield. Cleveland surveying the defense, calls for the snap. He's going to drop back to pass again. Cleveland escaping to the right. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Gets inside the 10, out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Short gain on the play, gain of 3. Good job by the Yellow Jackets in coverage. Good job by Cleveland to get some positive yards, get out of bounds and stop the clock, and live for another play.
Yeah, also nice job by the Yellow Jackets there. Sometimes when that quarterback's running out of bounds, it's easy to maybe give him a good shot out of bounds and add to the yardage, but they did a nice job of holding up there and just taking what they needed.
That's a great point. 2 receivers to each side by Cleveland. He has Howard in the backfield. 3rd and 8, obviously 4-down territory for the Pirates. We've got motion with Anthony. Cleveland's going to hand it off to him. He's met in the backfield but escapes the tackle. Bo Davis is finally going to bring him down at the 6-yard line. The clock's going to be running, 40 seconds and counting, and we've got a 4th down. Plenty of time for West Carrollton because you would figure that this play is probably going to the end zone. It doesn't have to. It's probably going to the end zone or it's going back over to the Jackets.
Yeah, you have a feeling this, I know they could get a 1st down, but chances are this is a play here that you either score or you give the ball back to the Jackets.
Huge play here for West Carrollton. They send out 2 receivers to each side. You got to think that they're going to give Kamari Cleveland the option to run or pass here. Calls for the snap and drops back to pass. Cleveland looking to the right, has Barry as his intended receiver, but it's going to fall short. Good coverage by Grant Fair. was kind of open, but it would have been a pretty tight window, and the Yellow Jacket defense holds.
Yeah, it looked like Cleveland might have just thrown it just a half a step early there. Didn't quite get his feet set and deliver it, and ended up just being a half-yard short, bouncing off the turf and giving the ball back to the Jackets.
So the fourth down has really been pretty friendly to the Yellow Jacket defense. Good job by Coach Coleman and the defense to get off the field there, because that could have been a real game changer.
I would say at this point in the game, it's safe to say that fourth down has been the difference in the game so far.
Yellow Jackets are in their victory formation, even though they're deep in their own territory. They'll do the shotgun snap and take the knee. West Carrollton cannot stop the clock with no timeouts, and that's going to bring us to halftime. So 17-6 is your halftime score. We'll pause for just a moment. We'll let you watch the band show, and then we'll come back after the band and talk about some stats. Yellow Jackets 17, Pirates 6. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the pride of Sidney, the Sidney High School Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Mr. Chris Adams, Mr. Todd Bridges, and Mr. Terry Costello. The band is led out to the field by field commanders Savannah Custon and Elizabeth Shaw. The Pride of Sidney would like to also give a special thanks to Wilson Health for the donation of the pink balloons that were raised for breast cancer awareness this month. Tonight, the Pride of Sidney pays tribute to movie mega hits. We're proud to present the timeless music from the Wizard of Oz. the iconic classic, the James Bond movie, The James Bond Theme. The Pride of Sidney closes tonight's show with a tune from the Lego movie. Everything is awesome!
Welcome back to Sidney Memorial Stadium, 30-0 field. Once again, at halftime, Sidney leading 17-6. Per the OHSAA playoff rules, halftime's a little bit longer now, 15 instead of 10, what it was during the regular season. And then, of course, when the clock runs out, they have the mandatory 3-minute warm-up. So technically, we still have almost 6 minutes until we start the second half kickoff. But let's go ahead and look at the kind of a rundown of the stats and how things went down in the first half. Yellow Jackets, once again, leading by 11. Really took advantage of some early West Carrollton mistakes. At 7:40 to go in the first quarter, E.J. Davis ran it in from 8 yards around the right end to give the Jackets a 7-0 lead after the Carson Taylor extra point. Carson Taylor was back on the field just about 2 minutes later, 5:05 to go in the first quarter. He made a 41-yard field goal to put the Yellow Jackets ahead 10-0. In the second quarter, a Yellow Jackets blocked field goal attempt actually eventually led to West Carrollton scoring with 2:41 to go in the first half on a Kamari Cleveland run from about, I believe that was 12 yards out. The two-point conversion attempt failed, and then kind of a crazy last 2 minutes with a drop punt, a fourth down stop, but also in between there, the Yellow Jackets scored on a 27-yard touchdown run by Cedric Johnson where he faked a handoff to E.J. Davis, kept it for 27 yards to put the Jackets ahead 17-6 after the Carson Taylor extra point. At the half for the Yellow Jackets, statistically, Cedric Johnson 5 for 7 for 65 yards. E.J. Davis ran it 5 times for 19 yards and a touchdown. Cedric Johnson 6 attempts on the ground for 47 yards and a touchdown. And Devin Taborn had 1 carry for -7 yards. Receiving, big first half by Avante Martin. The 6'3 senior had 3 catches for 46 yards. Sam Reynolds had 1 catch for 3 yards, and Jacob Wheeler had 1 catch for 16 yards and a big first down. Statistically for West Carrollton, Kamari Cleveland, the quarterback, went 7 for 14 for 50 yards and 1 interception. He also ran the ball 9 times for 39 yards and a touchdown. DeJuan Howard, the sophomore running back, 62 yards on 14 carries in the first half. Terry Green Jr. toted it 2 times for 5 yards, and Buckner had 1 carry for 2 yards. Receiving for the Pirates, Jordan Berry, number 9, had 3 receptions for 31 yards. DeJuan Howard had 3 catches for 9 yards, and Cole McCandless had 1 catch for 10 yards. West Carrollton had 8 first downs. The Yellow Jackets had 6 in the first half. West Carrollton 5 penalties for 25 yards and a turnover. Sidney with 2 penalties for 20 yards and no turnovers in that first half. Well, Coach, we saw a little bit of everything in that first half. Obviously, the Yellow Jackets do a nice job to start the game, taking advantage of some West Carrollton turnovers, but then the West Carrollton defense really settled in and did a nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Sidney right there from the get-go, and then West Carrollton kind of came back and made it very, very interesting there. And I think the Yellow Jackets were just trying to keep us on our toes there at the end of that first half.
Yeah, so we alluded to it before the end of the first half, but I think there have been 4 fourth downs from West Carrollton so far in the ball game. Yellow Jackets get 3 stops on those 4th downs, either resulting in really good field position that leads to scores, or on that last one, preventing a score, a really important score before the end of the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yellow Jackets will get the ball, so it'll be interesting to see if they can start back kind of where they left off there with getting the offense going, and going down and getting a score would be huge for them to start off the second half.
So we've got 2 minutes until the second half starts. Shout out to the band. Wonderful job there at halftime. I don't know a lot about music or anything, but I know that they sound really good.
Yeah, again, like you said, I'm not really good with music in terms of playing it or anything like that. No musical ability, but I know what I like, and that sounded really good to me out there. So.
Also, shout out to the cheerleaders, the student section. It's just always neat, especially from an administrative perspective, seeing all these kids involved here on a Friday night. And of course, the football team, as they lead 17-6. We're going to step away for just a moment, play our Levy commercial, and then we'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment.
On Tuesday, November 3rd, Sidney City Schools will be asking voters to pass, for 10 years, a $7.3 million emergency property tax levy to generate $3.5 million necessary to support school operations. This levy will continue to support the day-to-day operations of our schools, such as staffing, utilities, and supplies, and help offset the projected deficit we show in our 5-year forecast. It will help us maintain the excellent programs we currently have and help us keep the focus on academic growth moving forward. It is well known that strong schools are vital to a strong community and vice versa. Please help us make Sidney a stronger and more vibrant community by supporting our schools.
Okay, the warm-ups are almost concluded here for the second half. Coach Ward, before the game, you stated that one of your keys was the play up front. How do you gauge the Yellow Jackets have done on both sides of the ball up front so far?
You know, I think they've done a nice job at times. There's been times where on offense they've let some things through. That's always going to happen with an aggressive defense like what West Carrollton plays. But overall, they've done a nice job. Defensively, I think they've done a really nice job of plugging up the middle. West Carrollton's always going to get some yards on the outside, but overall the line play's been pretty good for the Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets deferred to start the ball game, so they will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. And of course, last time that West Carrollton kicked off after their touchdown, the first one went out of bounds and then almost recovered an onside kick. So you got to be ready for anything here.
Yeah, you know, they didn't show any propensity to kick it long there, so we'll have to see if they change their tune and kick it deep here. But I'm guessing they've got some sort of a gimmick kick or an onside to go with here.
So here comes West Carrollton special teams. Colton McCandless, the junior wide receiver, kind of plays almost a flex tight end for him, and then he can also, flex out and be a receiver at times as well. Is going to tee it up on the left hash once again. West Carrollton puts 4 coverage guys to his left and then 6 to his right. Of course, in high school football, is it the rule you can only put a maximum of 6 to one side? Is that right?
Yeah, you can't have any more than 6 to one side, and that limits some of the crazy things that can get guys hurt out there. So it was a nice rule change from a couple years ago.
McCandless will pooch kick it. It'll land about the 40-yard line. It's going to be picked up by Cam Vordemark. He'll get a couple yards on the return. Go out of bounds at the 41-yard line. That'll be good field position for the Yellow Jackets. They'll take over 1st and 10 on their own 41-yard line on the left hash as Sed Johnson comes out to start the second half. A really efficient half for Sed throwing the ball, and then obviously the big run to get into the end zone.
Yeah, I felt like he finally started to hit his stride there. Not that he had played poorly in terms of throwing it, but he really started to get in rhythm and deliver some nice throws there on that touchdown drives that the Yellow Jackets had.
Yellow Jackets will send 3 receivers to the right. Sed Johnson in the shotgun, as he always is, almost always. We got a stoppage of play, and we're going to get a flag. Is that going to be a delay of game or illegal substitution? So West Carrollton started the half with 12 men on the field, so that's going to be a 5-yard penalty before the Jackets even get the chance to snap the ball. So they'll be 1st and 5 instead of 1st and 10, and of course you always take that.
Yeah, we changed some rules this year, but I don't think that was one of them. So.
Yellow Jackets looking to the sideline for the play call from Devin Stewart, who's relaying that from Coach Britton DeVere, the offensive coordinator up here in the box. Sed Johnson takes a snap. He's going to fake the handoff to E.J. Davis. Same play as the touchdown run. It's a read play. I don't know if Sed made the right read there, but of course, not fumbling on a read is always a good read. But look, gets a yard, and to bring up 2nd and short.
Yeah, you might have had something there with EJ coming to the outside, but that's a split-second decision, and that's always tough for the quarterback to make there.
So Martin, Clark, and Wheeler to the right as receivers. Sorry, Reynolds to the right. Avante Martin's to the left. 3 catches for 46 yards in the first half for Avante Martin. Johnson back to pass. He'll dump it off to E.J. Davis. Davis getting positive yards near a 1st down across the 50-yard line into West Carrollton territory. Looks like the mark is good enough for a 1st down, and the Yellow Jackets start off with a 5-yard penalty and then virtually no gain on the rush, but then a nice dump-off pass to E.J. Davis for a 1st down to get things started in the second half.
Yeah, sometimes those little dump plays, especially against an aggressive defense, are really good because you can get the defense looking one way and just dump it to them and get some good yardage going the other way.
Almost a version of the spread toss sweep, right?
Yeah, definitely.
2 receivers to each side for Cedric Johnson. West Carrollton showing 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers in the box. Handoff's going to go to E.J. Davis. He'll bounce it out to the outside. He's going to be taken down for a short gain on the play. Taken down by number 4, Leon Nevels. A little bit of late activity. The referees are stepping in and trying to make sure we calm things down. Of course, things got pretty emotional last time that West Carrollton and Sidney played.
Yeah, let's see if hopefully the third quarter will be a little different than the third quarter from our last time.
That's right. So 1 minute and 8 seconds into the third quarter. That was a gain of 2 for E.J. Davis as he made a man miss in the backfield to make sure that there wasn't a loss on the play. And Brian Jones will set it down at the 47-yard line, almost in the middle of the field. Clock is running again. And the Yellow Jackets look to the sideline for the play. They'll send 2 receivers to each side of Cedric Johnson, the senior quarterback who's had a really nice ball game so far for the Yellow Jackets. E.J. Davis will move to the right side. Johnson calls for the snap. Fakes the handoff, a pass to Reynolds. Reynolds with some blockers inside the 40, down to the 30. Nice play there on the quick screen to Sam Reynolds. Gain of 17 yards and a Yellow Jacket first down. And that one, once again, almost busted for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and Sam's one of those players where when he gets it, you just never know. He could take it to the house and caught it in stride and really got some good yardage with that one.
We approach 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Yellow Jackets leading by 11 deep in West Carrollton territory, trying to make it even more. Handoff goes to E.J. Davis. He cuts back, gets inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line. Only a gain of 1 there. Great job by West Carrollton to keep contained and force E.J. back into where their linebackers were sitting to take him down.
Yeah, you know, he only gets 1, but I think he made the right move because they really had some guys out there to contain him, and probably would have been a loss if he had stayed to the outside with that one.
Clock still running with the run play. Ball's going to be in the middle of the field at the 29-yard line. Gain of 1 for E.J. Davis. 3 receivers to the left for Ced Johnson. Same offensive line that the Jackets had to start the game. Johnson calls for the snap from center Brian Jones. He's going to run option to the left. He'll pitch it to Davis. Davis forced to cut back by the West Carrollton defense. Makes a few men miss. Still going to be taken down for a loss. Back to the 32-yard line, a loss of 3. West Carrollton, once again, they had guys there, and E.J. did a nice job to make a few guys miss, but West Carrollton swarming to the ball and takes E.J. Davis down for a loss.
Yeah, what the defense did there that really helped them was they made Ced make a quick decision, an early decision to pitch that ball, and then really they didn't have to play both. They knew they could just get out to the running back, make him cut back, and really limit the yardage and you know, actually for a loss.
So I'll bring up a 3rd and 12. Yellow Jackets kind of in no man's land. Would have to gain a few yards probably for a field goal attempt. We're going to throw the screen back to the right side to Sam Reynolds. This time West Carrollton all over it. Number 36, Noah Babb in coverage. There was nothing there, and probably a wise decision there by Cedric Johnson to get rid of it where nobody could catch it.
Yeah, and now the Jackets are kind of in no man's land. You almost have to wonder if they do some. We've seen them do a quick kick earlier in the year, and maybe they'll try something like that now.
They'll send 2 receivers to each side. Cedric Johnson maybe trying to draw the defense off sides, and instead the Yellow Jackets will jump, so that's going to move them back 5 yards, and now 4th and 17 coming up, you're probably looking at a punting situation.
Yeah, and you never want to see a penalty, don't get me wrong, but honestly, that's not the worst thing that can happen there. You know, if the Jackets do decide to punt, they're, you know, really going to have a very similar chance to get it inside the
So the offense stays on the field, but we'll see where Cedric Johnson ends up lining up here as the play gets ready to be called. 3 receivers to the left. E.J. Davis will line up to the left as well. Johnson calls for the snap, and he's dropping back to pass. Johnson looking down the field for Wheeler. Overshoots him. It's going to be incomplete, and West Carrollton's going to take over as they convert on a 4th down stop on defense. That was a really nice series there for West Carrollton. After a couple really nice play by the Jackets, the West Carrollton defense stiffens, and they take over with pretty decent field position at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, that's a stop they needed to have here to start the second half to get them going and get them some feeling good about themselves and some momentum going into this first drive of the second half for them.
Halftime score, Tip City ahead 41-0 on Dayton Ponitz. We also saw where Butler scored in the second half, so Franklin leading Butler 7-6. Kamari Cleveland calling for the snap. He's got Howard in the pistol formation. He'll hand it off to Howard. Howard bounces it and now cuts back to the left. Going to be brought down by Keenan Johnson at the 42-yard line, but a beautiful jump cut there by DeJuan Howard is going to net him 5 or 6 yards and bring up a 2nd and medium for the Pirates.
Yeah, we've seen him use a lot of different moves tonight to gain yardage when maybe he didn't have a lot going, and he's just done a nice job out there for the Pirates.
So they'll place it at the 42-yard line, a gain of 5. 2 receivers to the right, along with McCandless as the wing, and Anthony down here to the left. Handoff's going to go to Howard again. He busts up the middle, but he's going to be taken down by Swiger and Bo Davis. Short gain on the play. We'll call it a gain of 2, and that's going to put the Yellow Jackets in a 3rd and 3 at the 44-yard line. Nice job there by the defensive line.
Yeah, really nice job right up the middle there of not giving any ground and boning up and making sure that they had short yardage, and now it brings up a tough 3rd and 3 for the Pirates.
Of course, West Carrollton, very aggressive offensively, so you would think maybe they'd be thinking about going for it on 4th down here if they're not unable to convert on 3rd and short, 3rd and 3 from the 44-yard line. Cleveland calling for the snap, and he'll fake the handoff to Howard, try the quick slant to Sanders. Ball's just a little bit behind him, but good coverage on the play by Miles Vordermark, who knocks it down. And once again, that's going to bring up that interesting 4th and 3 as the West Carrollton coach calls on some substitutions. I'm not sure if it's the punt team, though.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice call there by West Carrollton. You know, if that guy is able to just get inside of him a little bit more, they probably have the 1st down and maybe a little bit more yardage. But a nice play there by the Sidney defense and brings up a tough 4th down decision for the Pirates.
And that decision is to go for it. At least it appears as if they'll go for it. Might try to draw the Jackets off sides. 2 receivers to the right. McCandless as the wing to the right. Cleveland calls for the snap and has it. Throws the hitch to Anthony. It's going to hit the ground. Incomplete. Coverage by Grant Fair. And once again on 4th down for the 4th time tonight, the Yellow Jackets stiffen. And pretty good coverage there by Grant Fair.
Yeah, looked like he might have had something if it was up just a little bit. Might have been able to get the 1st down, but really good coverage. It had to be a perfect throw, and it wasn't quite there.
Looks like the Yellow Jackets are going to have to make a substitution on the offensive line as Jaden Swigers holding his right arm. Hopefully he's okay, as he will see trainer Beth Dankelson. Hopefully we get Chip back in the game. Brennan Barnes is going to check in. Barnes does have quite a bit of experience on both sides of the ball this year.
Yeah, he's done a nice job filling in as a sophomore for that offensive and defensive lines.
So Barnes will be joined with Keenan Johnson, Brian Jones, Evan Kennedy, and Isaiah Huggins on the offensive line. Handoff goes to E.J. Davis, running right. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. A host of Pirate defenders take him down, including number 6, Buckner, and also number 35, Anthony Baltimore, their leading tackler. It's going to be a no gain on the play, bring up 2nd and 10. Not much going there for the Yellow Jacket offensive line.
No, and they let that one go for a little while there. That's always a little risky in a game where emotions are getting high, and it's a playoff game, and never want to see any extracurricular activity after the play.
St. Mary's leading Greenville 49-6 in the 4th quarter. Running clock in that game. Not in this game. A very close battle between the Jackets and the Pirates. As we approach the halfway point of the 3rd quarter, Jackets leading by 11. Handoff goes to E.J. Davis. He's met by his center in the backfield, but E.J. bounces off of him. Going to get positive yardage. Fighting hard. A hard run by E.J. Davis. Those are the runs that you got to love as a coach. Obviously, you love the 76-yard touchdowns that E.J. sometimes gets, but that could have been a loss of 3. Instead, it's a gain of 3, and Yellow Jackets have a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, when you have a collision in the backfield between 2 of your own guys, and you're still able to get positive yardage out of it, that's a huge play. Yellow Jackets have a manageable distance now on 3rd down here.
So 3rd and 7 from the 41. 3 receivers to the left. Sed Johnson with Devin Taborn now in the backfield with him. Yellow Jackets tried to draw West Carrollton off sides. They're unable to do so. Play clock getting down to 3, 2, 1, and the snap gets to Johnson just in time. Johnson back to pass, has Wheeler over the middle, hits him at the 20-yard line down to the 10-yard line. Yellow Jackets run 4 verticals. They hit Wheeler cutting across the middle of the field. Beautiful pitch and catch from Johnson to Wheeler, and a huge 1st down to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, really nice play there by the Jackets, and got a chance here to add to the lead.
Isaiah Clark will come out of the ball game. That means the Yellow Jackets will go with 2 running backs and only 3 receivers as they go with their 2-back set. Of course, E.J. Davis scored earlier out of this formation Handoff this time is going to go to Devin Taborn behind E.J. Davis. Gets a nice block. Taborn can't get to the edge, though. Great pursuit by the West Carrollton defense. We do have a flag on the play as number 4, Leon Nevels, who's been all over the place for the West Carrollton defense, makes the play. But we'll see what the flag is. If that's holding, West Carrollton's got an interesting decision. Do you go second and goal from the 12, or do you go first and goal from the 21?
Yeah, I think here with Yellow Jackets having a pretty good kicker, and you probably make them go back here.
Well, that makes it a little easier when it's a personal foul.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 15 yards. The down will still be first, but that's even 5 more yards than we had thought. So I believe that'll bring it all the way back to the 26 or 25-yard line, depending on where they mark it off from. It looks like the 26-yard line. So that's going to be first and goal from the 26. And the Yellow Jackets are definitely in the hole here.
Yeah, and this is where you just, try to get some positive yardage. You're looking for 7 to 10 each time, just get a couple good plays and then give it a go on 3rd and 4th.
Cedric Johnson has E.J. Davis with him in the backfield, 3 receivers to his right. Johnson's going to roll out to the right. Gets some pressure from Baltimore, steps up in the pocket. Ced Johnson makes a man miss, but not the second man. He's going to be taken down for a sack. That sack by number 6, Tony Buckner, along with number 60 in on the play, Anthony Comer. Another loss for the Jackets, all the way back to the 29-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 29 from the 29.
Well, as a former offensive coordinator, what was your 2nd and 29 play?
Hey, Andre, make 7 guys miss and do something cool.
That's a pretty good one. I don't know if the Jackets can call that one up here right now.
4 minutes ago, about 4 minutes ago in the 3rd quarter, Ced Johnson adjusting the receivers up top to tighten them up a little bit. Pass is going to go from Johnson to Avante Martin. Martin makes a man miss, gets inside the 20 down to the 16, 17-yard line. And there's that positive play you were talking about, getting the Yellow Jackets back into field goal position, and also gives you a chance that maybe you break a tackle or something here, or busted coverage, and you got a chance to at least take a shot at the end zone.
Yep, they got 2 downs here to give it a go. Well, probably 1 if they decide to go for the kick and get it to a 13-point lead. If they I apologize, 14-point lead. I keep thinking that West Carrollton has 7 on the board, and they missed the 2-point conversion earlier.
2 receivers to each side for Cedric Johnson. 3rd and 17, 3rd and goal from the 17-yard line. Johnson calls for the snap. They're going to run option to the right. He'll pitch to DJ Davis. Ball's on the ground. Johnson will fall on it, and that's going to be a loss on the play. It's going to be a loss of about 10 yards, and that's going to bring up an interesting decision because this would be a 44-yarder, and all that yards they just gained on 2nd down, they gave back on 3rd.
Yeah, this makes it pretty tough here.
Run your 4 verts and chuck it up and see what happens?
Yeah, yep, give it a shot and hope for the best, I think.
West Carrollton is scrambling a little bit on defense. They do not have anybody back, so I think the Yellow Jackets might think about taking a shot here. They do have 1 high safety in the middle of the field. Of course, Coach DeVere likes to run 4 verticals when he sees that. So we'll see what happens here. Johnson drops back to pass. Looking, gets some pressure late. Over the middle, he tries for Sam Reynolds, who breaks off his route. Down around the 10-yard line, the ball does hit the turf. That's going to be incomplete, and West Carrollton holds. So a big stop for West Carrollton. Boy, it's been a story of 4th downs.
I was just going to ask you, what down was that, Coach?
Unbelievable. So 4th down, the Jackets are unable to convert, of course. 4th and 27 is a lot to ask.
It is.
But with 2:25 to go in the 3rd quarter, West Carrollton will take over, only trailing by 2 possessions. That could have been a lot worse for them there. Great job by their defense.
Yeah, neither team has been able to break through here in the 3rd quarter. Still not near as long of a 3rd quarter as what we had last time around. I think we had about 25 possessions by this point in the 3rd quarter.
This has been pretty well
30
played.
30 penalties, but
pretty well played, especially by both defenses.
Yes.
I mean, this game started, it looked like it might end up being a high-scoring affair, but both defenses have really settled in and done a nice job.
Yeah, and I think it is a testament to the defenses because the offenses haven't made that many mistakes.
Cleveland drops back to pass. Plenty of time looking. He's going to go deep. He's got a man down the right sideline, just overthrows number 9, Jordan Berry. Looked like a double move there, or maybe a broken play where he ended up going deep. And boy, Cleveland showed off his right arm there, and just a little bit long. The Jackets catch a little bit of a break there.
Yeah, because the receiver had some space, some distance between him and the defender, and they had something going there if they could have connected.
Nevertheless, an incomplete pass is going to bring up 2nd and 10. Cleveland breaks the huddle with 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Dwan Howard in the backfield to his right. Cleveland calls for the snap. Yellow Jackets only rush 3. Pass is going to go to the right side this time. He finds Berry. Jordan Berry makes the first down catch up around the 40-yard line at the 39-yard line, a gain of 12. Nice pitch and catch. And that's just not a throw that you see a lot of high school quarterbacks make. In the pocket, from one side of the field all the way to the other sideline on a dime. Beautiful throw, nice catch, first down for West Carrollton.
Yeah, on time, that's we've talked a couple times tonight about his ability to throw it all over the field. He just overthrew a really quick receiver the play before, and now he's hitting that wide play there that not many high school quarterbacks can do.
Same formation, twins to each side for Cleveland. Cleveland takes snap. He's going to drop back to pass again. This time the Yellow Jackets bring pressure. Ball is thrown out to Anthony. Makes a man miss. He's going to get up near midfield. Not quite a first down. We'll call it a gain of 9. Well, maybe now where they're marking it, it might be a 10-yard gain. We'll see where the official puts the ball down. It's going to be a yard short, it looks like. So 2nd down. Once again, nice pitch and catch. The Jackets that time changed things up. They've been sitting back, kind of hoping that Cleveland wouldn't scramble. That time they brought a little bit of pressure, but great job by West Carrollton picking it up. And almost a big play for West Carrollton if they could have broken one more tackle.
Yeah, they've got something going here, and let's see if they can keep it going, limit the mistakes, and score on this drive.
Cleveland calls for the snap again. He's going to drop back to pass again. Bo Davis on the blitz, doesn't get there. Pass is complete to Babb, just out of the outstretched arm of Curtis Spangler. Nice pitch and catch there from the quarterback Cleveland to Babb for a first down catch, a gain of about 6 or 7, and they're into Jacket territory at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, what a throw. I thought that was pretty good defense there by the Jackets, and he just dropped it right in over the top, and another first down.
Under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. There'll be at least one more snap here, and West Carrollton really, I mean, their run game's been effective, but they've really spread them out, and they're starting to throw the ball all over the field.
They are, and they're making the Jackets work for everything on defense and really stretching them out here.
Cleveland drops back to pass for the 5th consecutive time, going deep again, looking for Berry. This time, just on the outstretched. What an effort by number 9, Jordan Berry, as he laid out completely.
Yep.
Good coverage by the Jackets, but a great throw, a great effort, and nearly a touchdown for the Pirates.
Yeah, and it's evident they're going to keep testing the Jackets, and the Jackets are going to have to make sure that they're ready on every play because you never know when they're going to go deep with it.
Berry's going to take a play off after that effort. 16 seconds to go. This could potentially be the last play of the 3rd quarter. A 3rd quarter that's seen no score, but has seen both teams threaten at different times. West Carrollton takes a snap. Cleveland's going to hand it off to Howard. Howard working up the middle across the 45 to the 44-yard line. Short gain of 2 on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 8. And it's probably going to be, actually we have a stoppage in play, so maybe not the last play. We got an equipment timeout as Evan Kennedy has to come off the field for the Jackets. And now the clock is running again.
And it looks like West Carrollton's going to let it run out now.
And that'll end the 3rd quarter. So in the 3rd quarter, that sees some excitement, but no scores on the scoreboard. 17-6, Yellow Jackets lead, but West Carrollton with the ball in Yellow Jacket territory. We'll bring you the 4th quarter and the conclusion of the game in just a moment. For the Yellow Jackets, throwing the ball 9 for 14 for 129 yards. Running the ball has 8 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Kamari Cleveland for West Carrollton is 10 for 21 for 80 yards and an interception. And then running the ball has 9 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. Running the ball for the Jackets, along with Johnson, E.J. Davis has 11 carries for 12 yards and a touchdown. Devin Taborn, 1 carry for -7 yards. For West Carrollton, DeJuan Howard has done a yeoman's job with 17 carries for 71 yards. And Terry Green Jr. has 2 carries for 5 yards. Yellow Jackets led in receiving by Avante Martin, 4 receptions for 58 yards, and Jacob Wheeler, 2 catches for 47 yards. 3rd and 8, West Carrollton comes out with 2 receivers to the right and a wing back to the right. Cleveland will take the snap. He's going to hand it off to Howard. Howard cuts right. Nice jump cut. Going to get inside the 40. He's going to battle close to a first down, but going to be just a little bit short down to the 38-yard line. That's going to bring up a 4th and 2 or 4th and 1.5-ish. Nice run there by Howard, though. It looked like he might only get 1 or 2, but that jump cut, that's lethal.
Yeah, it is. And where do we find ourselves again, Coach?
4th down.
Yeah.
So far, the 4th down has belonged to the defenses for the most part.
Yes.
If you're a Yellow Jacket fan, you hope that that continues. But, of course, West Carrollton, very dangerous athletes, and it starts with number 7 in the backfield in Kamari Cleveland.
Yeah, and you have to think, they're going to give him the opportunity to get outside here and, at worst, get the 2 yards they need for the first down.
Cleveland keeps himself behind the block of Howard. He's met short of the first down marker, but he spins and nearly got it. We'll see what they call.
They're pointing the other way. Let's see if
Yellow Jackets with a huge stop. Curtis Spangler, Devin Taborn, Brian Jones, and Chip Swiger in on the play. Boy, I thought that didn't look good there at the start of that play, but just a great effort by the Yellow Jackets of swarming to the ball.
Yeah, I thought the way he hit it hard up in there that he was going to get it, but the spin there almost got it, but Yellow Jackets hold and first down for them.
And this is where the Yellow Jackets have not been able to get the run game going, but you'd like them to really be able to do that at this point. 11:09 to go in the ball game. Want that clock to run, 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 run.
This is where you want to ask your offensive line, okay, get me 3 or 4 yards every play, and let's just get it going, especially with the 2-score lead.
3 receivers to the right for Cedric Johnson, E.J. Davis to his left. Johnson calls for the snap, and he'll keep it himself. Johnson working up across the 40, very positive yards there to the 43-yard line, a gain of 6. And just like you talked about, not just 3 or 4, but got 5 or 6 there. Good job by the Yellow Jackets. I think that was Evan Kennedy that was pulling around to the left side, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's an experienced junior. This is his 3rd year playing on the starting on the offensive line, and did a nice job there on that play.
Take that back. It might have been right guard pulling Keenan Johnson. But either way, good job.
Keenan's a senior. It's nice to see both those guys doing their job out there on offense.
Play clock down to 10. Yellow Jackets trying to milk the best they can. 2nd and 4 upcoming. Johnson's going to keep it behind the block of E.J. Davis, and a big block by E.J. Davis. That's going to get Johnson the first down yardage, I believe, and the officials are signaling it. Exactly 4 for said Johnson. 2 carries, 10 yards, first down. Yellow Jackets keep taking that clock away.
Yeah, I said 3 or 4, but if you can get 5 every time, that'll work too.
Beautiful block by E.J. Davis, wasn't it?
He loves to block, and that he showed it on that play.
Not scared of contact, E.J. Davis. Avante Martin, solo left, 3 receivers to the right. E.J. Davis with said Johnson in the backfield. Johnson will hand it off to Davis this time around the right side. He has the edge. Inside of West Carrollton territory, out of bounds near a first down. So E.J. Davis goes out of bounds, but, you can't worry about the clock too much with 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
If you can get a first down, that was a beautiful run by E.J. Davis, who hasn't gotten the running game going for himself too much, but that's the 2nd time we've seen him get the edge, and when he gets the edge, it's impressive.
And you wonder, all those 4th down plays, those big ones that have win against West Carrollton, you're starting to wonder if maybe, the emotion of that is starting to take its toll.
Johnson back to pass, has a man, Isaiah Clark catches it at the 10-yard line. He'll be down at the 8-yard line. Beautiful pitch and catch. Once again, the Yellow Jackets send 4 verticals. They hit Isaiah Clark down to the 8-yard line. Huge pass from Zed Johnson to Isaiah Clark, and now the Yellow Jackets are in business deep in Pirate territory.
Yeah, and they really have a chance here to punch this one in, take control of the game. It won't be over, but they get a touchdown here. It really will put the Pirates behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and sure, and the Yellow Jackets, of course, they would go for the field goal, I'm sure, but don't want the field goal. That only keeps it a 2-possession game. The Yellow Jackets want 6.
Yep.
Said Johnson keeps it after the fake to E.J. Davis. Johnson sidesteps into the end zone. Touchdown, Cedric Johnson.
Yep.
His 2nd touchdown run of the ball game. An 8-yard scamper after making a man miss in the backfield. Nice blocking by the offensive line. Great effort by Sed Johnson, and the Jackets lead 23-6.
Yeah, I think he's been watching the other side there a little bit because he had a great jump cut there that kind of set him loose to get that touchdown.
23-6. That makes it a 3-possession game, and of course not over with the explosiveness of the West Carrollton offense, but it makes you breathe a little bit easier if you're a Yellow Jacket fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snaps a little high. Good job by Seth Johnson to get it down, and Carson Taylor knocks it through. It's not always pretty. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes not everything's going to be perfect. Great job by Carson Taylor to keep concentration, but what a job by Cedric Johnson with the touchdown run and then the beautiful hold to give the Yellow Jackets that 24th point.
Yeah, and a big pass play there to Clark to kind of set up that score, and big, huge drive there for the Yellow Jackets to punch that one in. And like I said, really take control of this one here early in the fourth quarter.
And we've talked about the Yellow Jackets. I've said it several times. They've run in 4 verticals with West Carrollton having a 1 high safety. What does that look do for an offensive coordinator? Why do they like that play that they've hit Jacob Wheeler on a couple times now, and now Isaiah Clark?
Well, the thing about that is you really make you stretch that safety and make him make a decision, and it really puts pressure on them. And if you make the right read, somebody's going to be open there.
Seth Johnson now 10 for 15, 162 yards. E.J. Davis, 12 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Seth Johnson, 11 carries, 63 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So really nice game so far for Seth Johnson, but he's had a lot of help. Obviously, West Carrollton, after that first game, they're keen on E.J. There's no doubt about it. Yep. That's opened up some things for Cedric.
Yes, it has. And, the great thing to see, though, is somebody like E.J. out there blocking for it, giving everything he's got there, even when he's not getting the ball. And that's a true team player.
Carson Taylor getting ready to kick it off. Number 5, Cedric Anthony, and number 2, DeJuan Howard are back to receive for West Carrollton, ever dangerous. 9:36 to go in the ball game. Jackets have extended that lead to 24-6. Carson Taylor approaches the ball and lets it fly. It's going to be taken by Anthony at the 5-yard line. He'll work up the left side, cut outside. He's got a hole across the 30, the 40, the kicker to beat, to midfield, 40, 35, 30, out of bounds, run by Grant Fair to the 26-yard line, and that's why you can't let up if you're the Jackets. What a beautiful return, just explosive play by Cedric Anthony, and great blocking by the West Carrollton Pirates.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see if you're the Yellow Jackets, and again, Coach, I think Coach Coleman, those are the type of plays that give him nightmares, but let's see if the Jackets can get a good stop here as West Carrollton comes to the ball quickly.
Yeah, we'll see if West Carrollton picks up the pace. They have the ability to go fast. Of course, there's so many guys going both ways, you don't want to do that the whole game, but obviously at this point they might not have a choice. Cleveland back to pass. He's going to throw it out in the flat to Noah Babb. Babb is going to be taken down by Curtis Spangler, and also Donovan Johnson and Devin Taborn are there late. The ball comes out, but the official correctly rules that Babb was down. 2-yard gain, short gain on the play, and that's exactly what you want if you're the Jackets. Short gain.
Keep them in bounds.
Keep them in bounds. Clock running, under 9 minutes to go in the ball game. 18-point lead for the Jackets, but West Carrollton threatening at the 25-yard line. 3 receivers to the left for Cleveland. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of drop-back passing at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Cleveland is back to pass. Looking, has Babb in the flat, but just outside of the reach. Pretty good coverage there by the Jackets. Donovan Johnson and Curtis Spangler. That's a tough throw, and that's a tough catch in high school football. We've seen Cleveland be able to do that, but good job by the Jackets of forcing that outlet pass and taking away the easy one.
Yeah, I think that's the Jackets' whole thing right now is, they're just trying to make sure that every play is a tough throw. If you can make everyone a tough throw, he's going to make some of those. He's too good not to, but if you do that, you limit their opportunities.
Howard in the backfield has had a really nice game. Really impressive sophomore running back. Cleveland takes a snap. Yellow Jackets blitz this time. Dobbs and Spangler blitz from the edge, but Cleveland eludes that pressure, gets inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line, and that's the chance you take when you bring pressure and don't get to him. Cleveland makes a few men miss. Jackets lose contain. A gain of 14 down to the 11-yard line, and West Carrollton's in business.
Yeah, they've got something going here, and they definitely have to punch this one in if they want to have a shot to get this victory.
So 1st and 10 from the 11, 8.5 and counting in the ballgame. 3 receivers to the left for Cleveland. He's got Howard to his right, and Jordan Berry is matched up with Grant Fair down here to the right. Cleveland back to pass. Looking to the left, now back to his right. Looking for Barry, has him in the end zone. That's going to be a catch for a touchdown. Kamari Cleveland to Jordan Berry makes it 24-12, and that was quick. And that's not what you wanted to see if you were a Yellow Jacket fan.
No, you saw how explosive they can be there, and they took advantage of some things that they saw, and now we're right back where we were before the last drive of the Jackets.
Jordan Berry, they wanted the slant there, but the Yellow Jackets took that away. Good adjustment on the scramble drill as Cleveland got outside the pocket, and those two, you can see, are on the same page. I'm sure that they've practiced a lot together, being in the same grade, nice play, and Yellow Jackets trying to hold this to a 12-point lead and not let it get to 10. 3 receivers into the boundary for West Carrollton, kind of a unique formation. Cleveland calling for the snap. He's going to run a quarterback sweep to the left side behind DeJuan Howard, and he's not going to get there. So the Yellow Jackets stack it up over there to the boundary, do a nice job of getting there as a team. And that's 0 for 2 on 2-point conversions for the Pirates, and those plays could loom large coming down the stretch.
Yeah, that's big. That would have made it a 10-point game, and now the Yellow Jackets get a chance to get the ball back here, but you have to be ready for anything in the kicking game.
Yeah, and say those 2-point conversions, because you think about it, I know they're 0 for 2, but if they're 2 for 2, it's a one-possession ball game right now.
Yeah.
So 24-12 is the score, 8:07 to go in the ball game. Yellow Jackets probably have to be ready for anything here with the hands team, as we've seen West Carrollton do a bunch of pooch kicks and even an onside kick that they almost got earlier in the first half. So far doing the kicking duties for West Carrollton has been number 3, Cole McCandless. He looks like he's going to tee it up again on the left hash like he has. Coach Dunges trying to get his kickoff return team to scoot up so they can get more guys in the area where there could be some green grass that West Carrollton might try to pooch kick this to and go recover it. See a lot of starters out there on both sides of the ball for West Carrollton.
That just shows you how important this play is.
McCandless approaching the ball, and he's going to kick it. It's going to be fielded by the Jackets at the 26-yard line. Cam Vordemark working to the right. He cuts up field at the 37-yard line, spins and drives his feet forward to the 39-yard line. Good job by the Jackets just securing the ball. And once again, we're right back to where we were. Last time we got the ball with about 10 minutes left, we said first downs, run the ball, keep that clock moving. And the Yellow Jackets obviously had a great drive and scored a touchdown. But you look back up, you get the ball back. Kind of the same situation, only 2 minutes later.
Yeah, and they did do a nice job on that kickoff there of making sure to just get down, because you don't want to have any bad things happen there on the kickoff. Another Yellow Jacket lineman coming off the field here. Looks like Evan Kennedy.
Yeah, Evan Kennedy's had some ankle issues throughout the year. He has missed a full game and some snaps and others. Looks like Michael Frank's going to step into the ball game. Kind of reminiscent here of the Xenia game, where the Yellow Jackets weren't in this bad of it, or were in a lot worse injury trouble than this. Cedric Johnson has a huge hole up the middle. Nice block by the line. Nice block by E.J. Davis. Ced Johnson goes all the way into West Carrollton territory. A gain of 16 on the play, down to the 45-yard line, and we have a timeout on the field for an injured West Carrollton player.
Yeah, and so what do we know? I mean, it looks like this is going to be pretty high-paced game here to finish out. Both teams are getting some big plays. I don't know if that's just indicative of where we're at in the game and people are getting tired and things are opening up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Final from St. Mary's. St. Mary's beats Greenville 56-21. Sidney here, 24. West Carrollton 12. 7:55 to go in the ball game. We'll step away for just a moment. Okay, back here at Sidney Memorial Stadium. Hopefully the West Carrollton player is okay.
Yeah, you never want to see anybody injured. And a different thing about this year is, playoffs. If he is injured, hopefully he's ready back for next week's game, because you can play after the playoffs,
Sure.
even if you get knocked out.
Absolutely. Said Johnson has 3 receivers to his left. He's going to hand it off to Davis this time. E.J. Davis met right at the line. Hard hit there by number 4, Leon Nevels, along with number 52, Devin Sadel. That was a pretty big collision right there for no gain, and at least the Yellow Jackets held on to the ball.
Yeah, there wasn't much going there. I don't know, something about a guy's named Leon there being good defensive lineman.
Yeah, you're right, not bad. Yellow Jackets send 3 receivers to the left and 1 receiver to the right. Under 7 minutes to go. Johnson back to pass. He'll throw it to Jacob Wheeler in the flat. It's going to be incomplete, and that's what you didn't want if you're a Yellow Jacket fan. 6:52. Yellow Jackets, simple pitch and catch. But West Carrollton, I give them credit. They read it. They were right there, and Jackets unable to connect and keep the clock moving.
Yeah, that's a big miscue there. He was open. Just got to deliver the ball there. It doesn't have to be a strike. Just get him the ball, make the completion. Even if you don't get a lot of yardage, keep that clock moving.
The clock is stopped with 6:52 to go in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 10. So interesting series of events upcoming here for the Yellow Jackets as they hope to get some yards here on 3rd down. Screen pass to Avante Martin. He's going to be taken down. Wow. That play's been successful for the Jackets. But that time, Eric Kadari, the sophomore defensive back, does a really nice job of getting in the back pocket of Avante Martin. The Yellow Jackets miss a block, and that's going to bring up 4th and long, 4th and 10.
Yeah, he kind of just jumped in right from the get-go there and followed him. And by the time Avante caught it, he was right there ready to bring him down and for no gain.
That's going to bring the punt team out for the Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets are missing somebody. It looks like Jackson Pettit's going to come in. I think that was supposed to be Evan Kennedy, but He was injured on that last series.
Jackets still some time here to get it off.
Jackets are going to fake it. Donovan Johnson has it around the right end, and he has a 1st down. Big time call by Coach Dunges and the special teams unit. Donovan Johnson keeps it for a gain of 12. Boy, that was a great call because there was nobody there. That had to be something they saw on film this week.
Yeah, I know that's something that Coach Dunges always looks for, to see if there's anything there on the punt or the kick game, some openings, some things to look for, because you might need it in key points of the game like that.
Huge play call by the Yellow Jackets. Huge execution, great blocking. Good job by Donovan Johnson to get what he needed. And the Yellow Jackets have a 1st down at the 28-yard line. Fake handoff to E.J. Davis. Said Johnson keeps it up across the 25, or right at the 25. Gain of 3, and that's going to bring a 2nd and 7. And this is where, once again, you want the Yellow Jackets. Make sure we're aware of the play clock. Run that thing as far as you can. And we got a flag on the field.
And don't have any stupid mistakes. So hopefully we'll see what this goes. It looks like it is maybe against the Yellow Jackets.
Unsportsmanlike conduct is the call on the Yellow Jackets, and that's going to back them up 15 and also save about at least 10 seconds. I think they'll wind the clock once it's set, but the play clock was at 40. Now it's at 25, so that's going to save time and also put the Jackets in a position where it's going to be 2nd and long from the West Carrollton 40-yard line. What do you think, Coach? Does your approach change here? Do you still run the ball, try to keep it in bounds, maybe some quick screens and see what happens?
Yeah, I think so. I think you still have to keep the ball on the ground. You're only at 2nd down here, and maybe you squirt something and then maybe you try a throw, but I would definitely keep the clock running. You're going to be able to get it under 5 for sure, and you are still up 2 scores. The biggest thing is get out with the win and advance. So you got to, but as I've said in the past, I'm a little more conservative than others at times.
Well, the Yellow Jackets with some offensive line substitutions in there right now. Said Johnson takes the snap. He's going to pass it. It's going to go to Isaiah Clark, and Clark had something there. There was a lane, but unable to connect. The ball's on the ground. That's an incomplete pass, and the clock stops with 5:10 to go in the ball game. And 3rd and 22 from the 40. Yellow Jackets in a world of hurt right now on the offensive side, but at least on the scoreboard they're ahead.
That's right. And West Carrollton was smart of them to pick up the ball there. You never know if that's a forward or backwards pass, but that was definitely forwards, and it'll bring up a long 3rd down here for the Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets have had some success hitting some seams over the middle. We'll see if they call that play with 3rd and 22.
Yeah, and I know Coach
40-yard
DeVere
line.
has even utilized throwing a deep ball and then maybe throwing an interception sometimes as a long punt.
Yeah, not always bad. Ted Johnson back to pass. He's got Jacob Wheeler going across the middle, but timing was thrown off a little bit there. Yellow Jackets are going to be forced to punt. 5:06 to go. I guess just a minute later than what they did before with the fake punt.
Yeah, we'll see what they how they're able to do it here and where West Carrollton gets the ball. You know, I think the Yellow Jackets like to kick it out of bounds and keep it away from their playmakers here on this punt.
Absolutely. Looks like West Carrollton's going to send back, I believe that's number 2, yes, DeJuan Howard. He's got his heels on the 5-yard line right now as Wes Davidson's back to punt. Good snap. Good kick by Davidson, out of bounds like you said. We'll see where the officials mark this. It's going to be somewhere between the 20 and the 30-yard line, I believe, as the official always goes back further than he wants, and then he looks to the main referee for when to stop. They're going to put it in play at the 26-yard line. So 5 minutes exactly to go in the ball game. It's going to be 1st and 10 for West Carrollton from their own 26, and obviously here, if you're a Yellow Jacket defender, you eliminate the big play.
Yeah, you got to, again, like we talked about a couple drives ago, make those outside throws. Of course, they can't stop the clock with that, but you got to make them tough throws and make them work for everything. Don't limit those big plays at this point in the game.
West Carrollton breaks from the sideline. They're going to send out 4 wide receivers. Yes, 2 to each side. Kamari Cleveland joined by DeJuan Howard in the backfield. He's going to take the snap, drop back to pass. Cleveland looking left. He's going to throw it left. Dobbs on close coverage there. It's caught, but out of bounds. Good effort by Cedric Anthony. That was really good coverage there by the Jackets. Yellow Jackets have seen that comebacker out to the sideline a couple of times. West Carrollton's been successful with that. Good job there by Dobbs getting to his drop.
Yeah, again, another nice throw. Just ran out of some room over there. But, yeah, you're right. The Yellow Jackets made it very tough. And 2nd down. But, again, we're not running much time off the clock. Maybe the 4th quarter will be like the 3rd quarter was in the last game.
4:55 to go in the ball game. 2-possession lead for the Jackets, 24-12. But West Carrollton with the ball, they do have 3 timeouts left in the ball game. Franklin beat Butler 14-6. That's a final from the MVL. So Butler eliminated from playoff contention. Kamari Cleveland running around in the backfield. Cuts back across the grain. He's going to get run out of bounds near the 30-yard line at the 29-yard line. A lot of running there for 3 yards.
Yeah.
Shows he's dangerous, but good job by the Jackets to contain that run.
Yeah, I think he ran for about 30, 35 yards there and gained 3 or 4. But he did go out of bounds, and they got a shot here to convert on 3rd down.
3rd and 7 from the 29-yard line. Winner will take on Stebbins next week at Stebbins. 2 receivers to each side for West Carrollton. Kamari Cleveland calls for the snap, and he has it. Fakes the handoff to Howard. Gets some pressure. He's going to escape to the left, and he has some room. Up across the 40 to the 45-yard line. Run out of bounds at the 47. Quick burst by Kamari Cleveland. He runs out of bounds for a 1st down near midfield, and West Carrollton's on the move.
Yep, they're getting what they want, you know, it's getting some yardage and getting out of bounds.
So 1st and 10, clock stops with Cleveland running out of bounds. Play clock under 20. It gives the offense a chance to huddle, kind of recollect themselves. They're going to send 4 receivers into the boundary this time. So 4 wide receivers for West Carrollton into the boundary. We've seen a screen pass out of this. And now it doesn't appear as if they have enough men on the line of scrimmage, but no flag on the field. Cleveland is going to throw it. He's going to hit Babb. Babb makes a man miss at the 45-yard line to the 44-yard line. Gain of 8, so the clock will keep running. Looked like an illegal formation, but no call on the play, so that's going to bring up 2nd and 2 as we get close to 4 minutes to go in the ball game. West Carrollton huddles, but huddles very quickly. The Jackets quickly shuffle in a couple of defenders. Trips left for West Carrollton. Cleveland calls for the snap, drops back to pass. Yellow Jackets only rush 3. Cleveland looking deep, looking for Babb. It's going to go out of bounds. Coverage on the play by senior Cam Vordermark. That'll bring up 3rd and 2, 3:55 to go in the ball game. Good job there by the Jackets on coverage, and probably not a bad decision by Cleveland to throw that one away.
No, he did a nice job of throwing it where only his guy was going to get it. Of course, it was well out, but nice play that gives them a chance to convert here on 3rd down.
So 3rd and short with high school rules and the clock stopping on any potential first downs. Of course, the whole playbook is available here.
Yep.
We haven't seen a DeJuan Howard run in a while, but I'd certainly think that that's at least in the playbook here. But when you got a quarterback that's elusive, that's just as good sometimes. Cleveland calls for the snap, gets a blitz from Bo Davis. Davis forces him to the left. Cleveland's going to throw it. It's going to be picked off. Picked off by Curtis Spangler, his 2nd interception of the ball game.
Great move
really smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just smart for Spangler to get down there. Bo Davis really made that play by forcing him out of the pocket, forcing him to throw it early, and just a great play by the Jacket defense.
Kurt Spangler picks with his 2nd pick. Slides down smartly at the 42-yard line, and the Yellow Jackets have it. 3:46, and a couple first downs ought to do it if you can keep the ball on the ground, keep it in bounds, and keep that clock moving with some first downs.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question now that keeping the ball on the ground is definitely the way that the Yellow Jackets are going to go here. I would be shocked to see him throw anything more than a screen pass, and just keep it on the ground with Davis or Johnson, and maybe even a little bit of Taborn in there.
Said Johnson calls for the snap. He's going to hand it off to Davis. Davis smartly just goes down instead of trying to string that out and possibly get toward the sideline. It is going to be a loss on the play, a loss of 3. That's going to bring up 2nd and 13. West Carrollton obviously has to think about when they want to use their timeouts. They've got 3 of them. They don't use one here, but I'd expect them to maybe start thinking about that here as we get to 2nd and 3rd down.
Yeah, I would think they would want to use definitely one of them on 2nd or 3rd down, especially if the Yellow Jackets are still behind 2 sticks.
Yellow Jackets aren't huddling, but are playing slow here as the play clock reaches 10 and is counting. 2 receivers to each side. Said Johnson has E.J. Davis in the backfield. Calls for the snap. He drops back to pass. Johnson looking, has a man. It's Wheeler. He catches it at the 45-yard line, inside the 40, inside the 35, makes a man miss, inside the 30, down to the 24-yard line, where he's finally brought down. A huge pass play from Seth Johnson to Jacob Wheeler, surprising everybody, and what a play by the Jackets.
Yeah, and when you can keep the defense on their toes like that, I mean, obviously the Jackets saw something they liked, a good connection there. The only thing I'd say is make sure we don't fight for too many yards there at the end, because that's where turnovers can happen. So, but a great play by the Jackets.
Big first down for all intents and purposes. If the Jackets can take care of things, that might have been, when we look back, that might be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, especially with a 2-score lead, that's pretty tough there.
So Seth Johnson has 3 receivers to his right, E.J. Davis in the backfield. Johnson calls for the snap. He'll keep it himself. Behind Davis, Johnson cuts back to the left, gets down to the 19-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 5. And that's about as perfect as a play as you could hope for at this point in the ballgame.
Yeah, we would take 5 every time and move them sticks and end the game with the Yellow Jackets with the ball.
So the Yellow Jackets won't have to snap this one until about 1:40 to go in the ballgame. As the clock is running, 2nd and 5. As West Carrollton elects to not use those timeouts yet.
You would have to think after this play they're probably going to use one if the Yellow Jackets don't get a first down.
Johnson's going to keep it again behind E.J. Davis. Nice block by Avante Martin, and Seth Johnson's going to scamper into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. It's 30-12. Seth Johnson from, I believe that was 21 yards out maybe, for another touchdown. Seth Johnson behind E.J. Davis. Great block by Avante Martin. Good job by the offensive line. Cedric Johnson capitalizes, and he's had himself a nice ball game.
Yes, he has. And, I think that kind of, like you said, puts the nail in the coffin. Obviously, you got to execute some plays here to finish the game, but really nice drive there by the Jackets to kind of put this one away.
Once again, a nice hold by Seth Johnson on the kick for Carson Taylor. That makes it 31-12. 1:37 to go in the ball game. Got to give it to Coach DeVere. He's made some calls that a lot of coaches wouldn't make in that situation, but he sees something and he goes with it, and it's been very successful for the Yellow Jackets tonight.
He knows what he wants. He knows his playbook really well, and he trusts himself to make those calls, and that's all you can ask for in an offensive coordinator.
And it doesn't help when you have a senior quarterback that you trust. I mean, if somebody's not open, I think he probably trusts that to not make that throw and just keep it.
Absolutely, and even E.J. Davis showing some maturity there of going down when he could have fought for some yards behind the line of scrimmage, and that's something I don't know that we would have seen out of E.J. last year.
Seth Johnson, just a wonderful ball game. 12 for 20 at this point, 197 yards. Also 15 carries for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. E.J. Davis, 14 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown, but probably his best work has been as a blocker for Seth.
Yeah, blocker, decoy. He opens a lot of things up for the Yellow Jacket offense, and I know E.J. led the league in rushing last year, but they definitely didn't have a playoff win last year to go with it. So that's the biggest thing on the scoreboard tonight, and they got to be excited about that.
So 137. Obviously, the Yellow Jackets last time nearly kick return broken by Cedric Anthony. This kickoff is going to be on the ground. It's going to bounce around. It's going to be snagged by Howard in an athletic play. He's going to work across the left side. Going to be taken out by Jai Wheeler. Nice play on special teams by the sophomore, Jai Wheeler, as he comes down the field, makes a one-on-one tackle against a great player at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and I apologize for those of you watching at home. That kick had me fooled a little bit there with the camera, and we only got part of that. But
you missed? Did you miss the one-handed snag?
Yeah, I did.
So the ball's bouncing around. It takes a huge hop like you see sometimes on an onside kick, and Howard jumps up and one-hands it. It was a pretty impressive play, but a great play by the Yellow Jackets in coverage and Jai Wheeler there.
Yeah, well, just attribute that one to a rookie camera guy up here. But sorry about that one at home, but we'll get the rest of it for you.
West Carrollton comes out in the 2-back set with Green Jr. and Howard in the backfield. They only have 2 wide receivers, so by my count, I think they're missing one, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we're going to get a false start here. And here comes the 11th player onto the field. Be a 5-yard penalty, so it's going to bring up a 1st and 15 from the 10-yard line. And Coach, I think you never want to look ahead too far, but I think it's pretty safe to say now, 3-possession ball game this late. We saw that game against Stebbins early in the year. Obviously, a great ball club having an historic year by their school standards. But what do you remember from that ball game, and what are the Yellow Jackets going to have to do?
Well, we've talked about it so much this year, but I remember that turnovers, penalties, and special teams were huge in that game, as they have been in almost every Yellow Jacket loss, and that was the difference in that ball game, and I know they're going to be important next week when the 2 teams meet again.
Short gain on the play. We're going to get a timeout. So a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd and 13. We're going to pause for just a minute. We're going to come back, give you the conclusion of the game. We'll give you some stats. Look forward briefly to next week, and then get ready for the Stebbins Indians as the Yellow Jackets lead here 31-12 late in the ball game. We'll be back for the finish in just a moment. Well, Coach Ward, we talk a lot about Seth Johnson. How about this defense? Huge 4th down stops, limiting a very explosive offense. They've really done a nice job all night.
Yeah, 12 points. I think if you said that to Coach Dunges, Coach Coleman, anybody going into this one, I think they would have come away pretty happy and pretty sure that they were going to come away with the victory.
Cleveland drops back to pass. He's going to dump it off to Howard, who has some room. Across the 20 to the 25-yard line. He runs over Grant Fair, but to Grant Fair's credit, he takes him down. And that's going to be a 1st down, but a nice job by Grant Fair to limit it to just that in a 1st down.
Yeah, and keep him in bounds. I know the clock stops, but it'll start again here when the ball's set. Maybe think about running out of bounds there if you were the Pirates.
Cleveland calling for the snap again, drops back to pass. Mark Cleveland surveying the field, goes a little bit deeper this time for Barry. He has him right at midfield, but it's broken up by Grant Fair. Great timing by Grant Fair to separate Barry from the ball. Beautiful throw, great effort by Barry once again, but what a play by Grant Fair.
Great play, and it's really cool to see a senior like that having good moments out here. He's played pretty well all night, and again, that's part of why the Jacket defense has made such good strides this year.
So 2nd and 10. We're under a minute, 57 seconds to go in the ball game. Jackets lead by 19, 31-12. And it's almost a reality, but not quite yet, that get to watch Yellow Jacket football on Friday night and then wake up and get ready to watch the Buckeyes. It's not quite here yet, but it's getting close. Cleveland back to pass. Looking. We got a hold in the backfield that's going to probably bring this one back, but it is an incomplete pass out of bounds. Intended for number 23, Jarrell Sanders, working along the sideline. Will indeed be holding. We'll see what the Yellow Jackets do. At this point in the ballgame, you probably send them back.
Yeah, and one thing to mention here is the season's not over for the West Carrollton Pirates. That's something different this year. I don't know, what their schedule looks like over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully they can find some good opponents. And
I think I saw where they had Butler tentatively scheduled for next week.
Great.
Don't quote me on that, but
I think those teams should match up really well, and I'd like West Carrollton's chances in that game.
Butler eliminated tonight by Franklin in a close contest. And West Carrollton set to be eliminated by the Yellow Jackets, as Jackets will play against Stebbins next week at Stebbins. Cleveland calls for the snap again. This time he'll hand it off to Howard. Howard has some room, cuts back across the 30 to the 40. He's going to be taken down from behind by Cam Vordermark. It'll be a first down, but Vordermark with a touchdown-saving tackle. Nice play by Howard, as he has to be close to 100 yards, if not over it. And we're going to get a timeout on the field by West Carrollton. 41 seconds to go in the ballgame. 31-12 is the score. We'll be back for the finish in just a second. So we just heard Mr. Bickle say on the loudspeaker that the tickets for next week's game at Stebbins are going to be the same as this week. So anybody who had the opportunity and is listening to us at this point, that process will be the same. But exciting, moving on to the second round. Get to play a team that you got a chance for revenge on, which is always kind of nice.
Yeah, it's always nice to get another shot at them. I think the Yellow Jackets match up pretty well in that game, and hopefully they can get a second playoff win, which has only happened one other time in program history.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were saying this is the second time we've played at home in the playoffs, or second win we've had at home in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, yep.
Coach Dunn just has both those wins.
Yes, only the second time we played at home, and we're 2-0 here at 30-0 Field in Sidney Memorial Stadium.
Nice pitch and catch there from Cleveland to Barry, out of bounds for a first down into Yellow Jacket territory. The 48-yard line, a gain of 12. Clock goes down to 36 seconds, but it'll stop right there with the ball going out of bounds. Let's talk about West Carrollton. Boy, you talk about the beginning of the year not seeing some obstacles coming, and to put the product on the field that they did tonight. Yeah. And boy, they fought hard, but just ran out of gas, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. I think you could see there towards the end that how thin they are at some positions. Some guys playing out of position, missing a really, really talented running back. All those things start to add up as the game goes on.
So only 4 seconds come off the clock as we have a first down pass and catch from Cleveland to Barry. Once again, it's going to bring up a second and short at the 40-yard line.
I believe it was completed, but we still haven't. There we go. Now we're starting to move the things forward a little bit. So
ball's going to be placed right at the 40-yard line on the right hash. West Carrollton trying to get a late score here. Last game was 32-20, so a score here would give a similar type of score.
Yeah, yep.
Although not really the same ball game. That game was marred with mistakes and penalties. This one was pretty cleanly played. I know there were a couple of turnovers with the interceptions, but really a pretty good effort by both teams.
Yeah, that one, was, like you said, was more turnovers and mistakes. This game has really been decided on fourth down.
That pass is complete, but out of bounds to number 9, Barry. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 2. Same spot at the 40-yard line as we creep toward the end of the game. 27 seconds still remaining.
Yeah, and at this point, you just want to see nobody get hurt, no extracurricular activity after the plays, and everybody get ready to go for the next week.
Cleveland breaks the huddle. He's going to send 2 receivers to the right, 2 backs with him in the backfield. Cedric Anthony solo left, guarded by Donovan Johnson. And we're going to get a delay game. So delay game is going to send it back 5 yards. That'll make it 3rd and 7 from the 45-yard line. Still 27 seconds to go in the ball game. I don't know if we're doing the game next week or not.
Yeah.
I'm sure Stebbins will have first crack at it, but we want to thank everybody for listening to us or watching us. Maybe probably not listening to us. Thanks for everybody who's joined us all year. Don't know if the Jackets will be back home. That's always a possibility depending on how the playoffs go. But either way, we'll make sure that you have the opportunity to watch. As there's Zane Latimer, you got to get his name in there with a nice tackle on Green Jr. We're going to get a timeout by West Carrollton. 14 seconds left. That's a guy you love to see make a tackle.
Absolutely.
And you can see the team loves it too.
Yep, they're all getting excited over here, and it's good to see them getting after it for one of their teammates there getting a nice play. As you said, it's been a pleasure this year.
It's been fun.
Hopefully some of them are still listening at home. They don't have us on mute, but it's been a pleasure to do this, and I'm glad we could do this for fans that weren't able to attend games. It's been a crazy year, and hopefully the Jackets can continue rolling next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not saying we're not doing that game, but
sure.
we haven't heard anything yet. So I'm sure that those details will be ironed out throughout the week. But check in with our Twitter account, the Athletic Twitter account. I'm sure you get details on whether Stebbins is doing it or whether we're doing it or whether the Spectrum's doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's always a possibility, too, at this point in the ball game.
Yeah, and that's something hopefully that good that comes out of this. Maybe they'll allow, I know Spectrum has a contract, but allow some high school teams to continue doing this in the future.
So West Carrollton, after their final timeout, takes the field. 14 seconds left. So they'll be 4th and 1 from the Jacket 39-yard line. Cleveland back to pass. He's got 5 guys going deep. We're going to get a hold in the backfield. Cleveland lets it fly to the end zone. It's going to be out of bounds, and the Jackets will decline the penalty, come out, take a knee, and move on to next week against Stebbins. Congratulations to Coach Dunges, Coach Coleman, Coach DeVere, all the assistant coaches, and all the Yellow Jacket players. Of course, some minor injuries, we hope. I know Evan Kennedy went out. Hopefully the Yellow Jackets can get healthy and put their best foot forward next week against a very good Stebbins team.
Yeah, they're going to need all hands on deck. They had most of those guys for the first time around, and it was a close one. And I know Stebbins has been had a lot of success this year and just gained confidence and momentum as the season went along.
So the Yellow Jackets will send out their first team offense to take the knee here and win the ball game 31-12. Your player of the game?
I think it has to be offensively Cedric Johnson. He just, distributing the ball with the passing game, but also a lot of rushing yards there and touchdowns. He's my offensive player of the game for sure.
And defensively, I'm gonna go with Grant Fair.
Okay.
I mean, you could pick anybody.
Yeah,
but
Curtis Spangler had a really nice game as well.
Huge game. Yeah, I said his name enough. So, but Grant Fair, I mean, and Grant has worked to make himself a really good athlete, but I think that even Grant will tell you he's not as good of an athlete as the guy that he was lining across from tonight, but he battled tooth and nail with him and did a really nice job of not giving up big plays.
Yep, he did his job and just did a nice job of using the skills and the intelligence that he has to make plays, and that was great for the Yellow Jacket defense.
So real quick, wrapping this one up, the Yellow Jackets jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter on an E.J. Davis 8-yard run around the right side, and then 2 minutes later, a 41-yard field goal. Yes, I said 41-yard field goal by Carson Taylor to make it 10-0. West Carrollton scored late in the second quarter, making it 10-6 on a Kamari Cleveland run from 12 yards out. The 2-point conversion failed. It was 10-6. Yellow Jackets answered back less than a minute later on a key drive of the ball game with a 27-yard by Cedric Johnson. That answer right at the end of the first half, and then holding after the botched punt return deep in their territory. And when you look back, that was probably the key point in the game. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think those are the I wouldn't say the game turned, because I think the Yellow Jackets already were ahead, but those were things where there was a chance that maybe for West Carrollton to gain more momentum and start to inch closer in the game, and big plays by the Yellow Jackets for sure.
Absolutely. And then no score scoring in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, the Yellow Jackets got an 8-yard run by Cedric Johnson to make it 24-6. West Carrollton answered real quickly after a long touch kick return, and then punched it in on an 11-yard pass from Cleveland to Barry. The extra point, two-point conversion, failed, and it was 24-12. Then the Yellow Jackets get a big pass from Johnson to Jacob Wheeler deep into West Carrollton territory, and then Johnson finishes off the drive with a 19-yard touchdown run to end the scoring at 31-12, and that's the final score that the Yellow Jackets win. Yellow Jackets improved to 4-3. West Carrollton falls to 1-4. Yellow Jackets move on to play Stebbins next week at Stebbins in the second round of the OHSAA tournament. Stats for the Yellow Jackets. Your player of the game, Cedric Johnson, goes 12 for 20, 197 yards, and then on the ground, 15 carries for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns. E.J. Davis, 14 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. Devin Taborn, 1 carry for -7 yards. And Donovan Johnson on the fake punt had 1 carry for 12 yards. Receiving for the Jackets, Avante Martin had the most catches. He had 5 catches for 58 yards. Jacob Wheeler had the most yards, 3 catches for 82 yards. Sam Reynolds, 2 catches for 20 yards. Isaiah Clark, a big catch for 33 yards. And E.J. Davis, 1 catch for 4 yards. Yellow Jackets had 12 first downs, only 5 penalties for 56 yards, and 1 turnover. And that, you got to say, that's huge. Only 5 penalties, 1 turnover. Those are numbers that usually lead to a Yellow Jacket victory, or at least being in the ball game.
Yeah, those are huge numbers in the game. And one thing I noticed as you're reading through the receiver stats there is each one of those receivers really had a big catch that I can remember in the game that really kept a drive alive or really moved the ball down the field for the Yellow Jackets.
For West Carrollton, Kamari Cleveland went, 16 for 34 for 133 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. He also had 13 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. And I know we said it all night, but I think it bears saying one more time. What an athlete, what a football player.
Oh, he's special for him. He's going to be a handful next year. And, I think some teams are going to start looking at him. He makes plays, he makes throws that a lot of high school players can't make. And there's going to be somebody at the next level that really wants him pretty bad.
And Tyron Darby, their leading rusher, was not able to play. We've seen how explosive he can be, but the sophomore, DeJuan Howard, certainly no slouch. What a game he had. 20 carries for 101 yards. And just some beautiful spin moves, jump cuts, power, speed, a little bit of everything from the sophomore running back.
Yeah, you almost could have put a highlight reel together tonight of just some of the cuts and moves he made. It looks like a Madden highlight reel out there in some parts of the game.
Jordan Berry did most of the receiving for the Pirates, 7 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. DeJuan Howard had 4 catches for 21 yards. Babb had 3 catches for 18 yards, McCandless 1 catch for 10 yards, and Anthony 1 catch for 9 yards. The Pirates had 10 penalties and 2 turnovers, 10 penalties for 50 yards, 2 turnovers. Once again, those numbers in favor of the Jackets. The first downs were 12-12, it appears. So thanks to my dad, Ed Snyder, for those stats. Appreciate it. Thanks to you, Coach Ward. Nice win for the Jackets. Go ahead and wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, a great win for the Jackets. Beautiful night out here. Anytime the Yellow Jackets get a playoff win, no matter what the situation is, it's just a great feeling. And hopefully they get a second one next week, and that'd be only the second time in the history of the program that they were able to get multiple wins if they can pull that one out at Stebbins next week.
That'd be awesome. So the Yellow Jackets travel to Stebbins next week. Like we said, check the Athletic Twitter account and social media for how you can watch that game or attend that game if you are lucky enough to get a ticket. But once again, Yellow Jackets win 31-12, win in the first round of the playoffs. This is Greg Snyder along with Mike Ward and Ed Snyder.